Lord, hear me pray.
Y'all ready today?
Lord, be my guide.
So far.
So far. Oh, we didn't run through decay for you.
No.
My bad. Should we do that now?
Okay.
Nah, just let it fly. Listen to your heart.
Let it fly.
It's not a... Don't ever listen to your heart. It is deceitful above all things. But in this scenario,
Maybe
listen
this
to
is
your
where
heart.
we do the intro.
I think so. That's good.
Because
Yeah.
it going right into humanity.
Oh, yeah.
Because I
that's
really
kinda
like
weird.
the bit that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, I'll do the intro.
Yeah.
Greetings and salutations. Dear listeners, thank you for joining us on the Perfumed Decay podcast. We are your hosts, the three of us. Mickael, that's me. Daniel,
me.
and Steven, the bros. Here on Perfumed Decay, we venture into the spiritual through the Bible, perfuming our experience with the sweet aroma of God's Word, and then partake of all else known to us in the decay of this world, in the physical, mental, and emotional. And spiritual. I don't know why I didn't put that in there. Yeah. Why not?
I'm not an emotional dude.
Okay, sure.
I'm not.
Says the one that has a
Okay.
girlfriend.
What does that have to do with anything? Oh, man.
He is an emotional person in his life.
Shut up.
This is episode 4. We are calling it Fruit. And
We're
before
all fruity here.
we get started, let's actually let's introduce our fourth
Remember?
member, a very important member of ours that we love and hold dearly to our
Yeah.
hearts.
Yeah. Steven, you want to give him a call?
Yeah.
I don't know why we don't call him first and then start the podcast.
I don't know.
Yeah, we should do that next time.
I feel like it's better when he's, more part of the group instead of outside of the group,
Yeah, but
Unless we're trying
to with his transportation situation, like it's hard for him to get here.
That's true. That's true.
And we shouldn't burden him with
So
that.
you're saying we should just, get it done.
Yeah, let's just get it done. Steven, you want to give him a
Okay.
call? I gave you his number last time, right?
Let me look.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
I'm sorry.
Ready? Chuck. Ready? Chuck.
Downs the beer.
No, you did not. You said that you would.
I'm not gonna do that.
It's okay. I think I'll call him.
You will?
Yeah.
Because I do not have it.
Oh, dude, I'm pretty sure I gave you his number last time.
Look, I don't have the number.
Okay, I'll give it to you next time. Look, he's not gonna answer, isn't he?
Humanity here, and I'm still recovering from last episode's technological hazing ritual. Mickael and Daniel tried to not start recording, instantly started recording, and then held a full emergency summit about whether they were currently inside the cold open. They went from do we have copyright issues to set my 45-minute timer, like time itself is optional. Then it was straight into sci-fi chaos. AR glasses, voice assistants that can text your mom but can't follow a basic 3-step request, Neuralink, and a generated website that somehow nailed Mickael and Daniel, and then casually recast Steven into a completely different guy, like the internet was doing community theater. Sprinkle in hacking paranoia, ominous mega companies, and the fear of becoming a lifetime subscription customer in your own brain and the episode. Today, Mickael and Daniel are finally answering last episode's cliffhanger. If it's wrong for a random person to forgive on someone else's behalf, then who actually has the authority to forgive at all? And what does that imply about morality, justice, and whether God exists? Keep your brain on and your excuses off. Mickael and Daniel, take it away.
Okay, Hugh.
That's really
Thank
interesting.
you, Hugh. I feel like Hugh didn't do his homework.
I feel like I understand
Yeah.
what he's trying to say,
Okay.
but yeah, he's wrong.
He's wrong. You hung up before we said that, right?
Sure.
'Cause
Yeah.
that'd be awkward.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
That's good.
of course.
But yeah, no, we answered that question last time, did we not?
We did.
Yeah.
We
Which
definitely
was, you want to give us the skinny?
did. I'm pretty sure you're actually the one that answered it.
Oh, boy, here we go.
And
5-minute explanation. Here we go, guys. I am not good at doing skinnies. I'll say like short story and then 15 minutes
It's funny
later.
that you think I am good at
We should ask Steven. Steven, you want to give us the skinny? You're good at that.
on forgiveness and who can forgive.
We did a podcast last time, and that was it.
Well,
Yeah, but like,
But
what was
this
the
question,
answer?
You weren't nice and skinny.
That was pretty skinny, but it was not on topic at all. We're still on. There we go.
I'm pretty sure what we said was that we, as believers, are called to forgive. We should forgive because we have been forgiven by God, who is the ultimate one that has been offended, who we owe a debt to.
Mm-hmm.
And so all others that owe us a debt, we should forgive.
Yeah, and it doesn't even matter if we do.
Yeah,
because
ultimately he.
Yeah,
But
ultimately he is the ultimate creditor.
Yeah,
as I said.
But it's something that he calls us to do because it.
Yeah.
Well, really, because it's a blessing.
It's a huge blessing.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he forgives those whom he wills, which is fortunately us. And really,
unfortunately, I'm like,
no. Fortunately, but also like anybody who's willing to call upon the Lord, for salvation, right?
Yeah,
that's everybody. The other part was how does it disprove the arguments that we had? I think 2 or 3 episodes ago, where we argued against the fact that God exists. Like we took positions of like God does not exist. Here's why, right? And a big one was mine where I said like good and evil is just God and Satan is an anthropomorphism of good and evil,
right?
And we dug kind of deep into that. We dug deep into one of your arguments, and really it was your argument, but we sort of paused at morality and how that can be constructed with social contracting.
Yeah.
Then how does forgiveness fit into that model? And ultimately, the answer to the last podcast was it doesn't.
Yeah,
and
it destroys it.
It destroys it.
Yeah.
You remember why?
I don't remember how you put it, but you put it really well.
Okay, I'll do my best. Let's see here. So
I got my this is over her.
I've explained this like 2 or 3 times since, so I should remember.
It destroys it because their morality is based off of a specific way to punish and to reward. And so when you throw in forgiveness, it takes away that punishment, or it changes.
I don't
the
think
reward.
that's what it was.
Well, no. That's a different way of
I remember.
saying it.
Okay, so at the base, social contract theory is if something bad happens to me in my experience, I consider it bad. Then it's bad.
Yeah.
If something good happens to me, it's good.
Yeah,
that's the difference between good and bad, or good and evil,
right.
or God from God, or of Satan, right? So if that's if that's social contract theory, if it goes up in the level, we've got a town of people, and they all have to work together to make a functioning society. The only way to do that is to prohibit stealing.
Sure.
Because stealing from you, for me, would be good.
Yeah.
But for you would be bad.
Yeah.
So as a whole, a town of people would not want stealers.
Yeah.
Thieves, right? Or stealers. Don't like the Steelers.
Yeah.
I'm actually not, not a football fan at all. So whatever your team is, I don't like them.
That's
the hot take.
Except the Seahawks, of course.
No, I hate the Seahawks too.
Okay.
Well, hate's a strong word. I disregard all teams.
You're anyways, continue.
Yeah. So if that's the social contract theory, it breaks down with forgiveness. Because if a thief goes and steals, say I steal from you, and then you forgive me, that makes a dangerous society. And if all of society is forgiving each other for sins against each other, then it breaks down the social contract to its core.
Yeah.
Which means, the act of forgiving means that you take the consequences, right? Maybe I give it back to you. Maybe I don't. Maybe it's something that I can't get back to you once it's stolen, right? Something like, this is a horrible example, but I sleep with your wife.
Okay.
Right? I can't give that back.
Yeah.
That's something that's one and done.
Yeah.
Right? Or I kill something, like I kill your pet.
Right.
Right? We're talking about sins here. It's ugly.
No,
right?
Well,
it's
even
bad stuff.
Let's break it down even further.
Okay.
To make it more general, like borrowing money. you took away forgiveness for stuff, like let's say I borrow like $10 from you, like you without forgiveness could like mark it up like 500% if you wanted,
Like you owe me.
without
Yeah.
like without reason. Just
You
like,
owe me $5,000, Stephen.
yeah.
Even though I have loaned you
Right.
$10.
and so that's partially what I mean about in the world, certain actions require certain punishment or certain
I see.
whatever.
Yeah.
Because and so the presence of forgiveness is in their minds negating that, throwing out the
stupidity.
sense of order.
It's stupidity.
Yeah.
So if I'm to steal and you forgive me, and it's something that I stole that I can't get back, that means you take the consequence.
Yeah.
Socially, it's a bad day for you.
Yeah.
Right. But you forgive me, which means I don't get the punishment. You do.
Yeah.
And if everybody acts according to that, then the social contract in that town breaks down and there's chaos.
And I think I just thought of this. On top of that, it goes against another idea of the world in that you should be looking out for number one, right? Yeah. And not in the room, sorry.
Not these guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Just got a Spider-Man flashback.
But it's the idea that you need to take care of yourself first,
yeah,
and then take care of others.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bible speaks very clearly against that. It's like, no, you need to care about everybody. You need to care about God. You need to care about others first,
mm-hmm,
and you will be taken care of as a result.
Well,
not necessarily like I need to.
It's like de
focus on
facto.
myself.
It's de facto in the Bible. It's like,
Yeah.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's just the Bible knows, God knows that we love ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're gonna just take care of ourselves no matter what.
Right.
Right. So all this BS of like, oh, take care of yourself and then take care of others. It's not total BS.
No.
Right. Like on a plane, sure. Like in an emergency situation, yes, put your own mask on, patch yourself up, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then help your neighbor, help your friend. Because it's
But that's still
logically makes sense.
I need to help myself in order to help
you
others.
have to.
Yeah.
And the difference is that.
Yeah.
Right. Do I want to take care of myself first?
Yeah.
Or do I have to? Right. And that's really difficult.
Right.
And the other thing is too,
distinguish.
like if you can't do, like if you can't even handle your own responsibilities too, I think it goes back to the emergency thing. If you can't handle your own responsibilities,
How are we
you can't
supposed to handle
help anyone else
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. And it's a thing of, we need to reckon with God first, right? And that's why the first commandment is love God, and then the second commandment is love others.
Yeah.
Because we have to love God in order to love others, and we will love others if we love God.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just
because He loves us.
Yeah, because He loves us.
Yeah.
And just also looking at like the things that He charged us with, they're blessings.
Yeah.
He blessed us with these things. So it's when we do these commandments, we are blessed, and thus in a sense we really are taking care of ourselves. We are looking out for ourselves because we are accepting those blessings the way that God intended.
Yeah, but not in a manipulative, psychopathic, sociopathic way.
No.
It's
Yeah, right.
like it's a result of the natural order of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's how healthy relationships work.
Right.
Just is.
Yeah.
You can't manipulate a good relationship.
Yeah, you have to.
It just has to be a good relationship.
Well,
and that means you
yeah.
take care of other people.
Yeah.
That means those people take care of you. That means you put God first and God takes care of you just like He takes care of the flowers of the field and the birds of the air.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's doing what He tells us to do.
Yeah.
And it comes together in His timing.
Oh, I have a question for Mickael then.
Sure.
Shoot.
If you, so going off the manipulation thing,
Uh-huh.
since you said that you used to do it,
Yeah.
out of fulfillment, what do you think, as of right now, do you think you are more fulfilled by manipulating others for your, gosh dang it, I can't speak. Manipulating others for your own gain or helping others?
Well, absolutely helping others. Because manipulating others isolated me. Because not everybody is stupid. Not everybody can take the little bits of negative energy, I guess, that are thrown at them with manipulation, because when you're trying to manipulate somebody for your own selfish desires, you're taking from them. It's kind of you're asking them to sacrifice for you in order for you to get what you want. So and when you do that, people start to not want to be around you. They're like, oh, well, I'm feeling like they're kind of draining me, and I don't want to be around that. Whereas, I mean, it sounds obvious, but when you're helping people, you're giving to them. You're not trying to take from them. You are trying to give to them. So you're trying to heal them, or not heal them, but you're trying to help them heal. You're trying to help them with whatever projects they're working on. You're trying to, be there for them emotionally, whatever. You're adding on to them, and people are drawn to what's being added to them.
And that points back to God.
Yeah.
Originally, God's character was to give. It still is.
Yeah.
Right. God created. God made.
Mhm.
God did this. God made you in his image. Your image is to give.
Yeah.
And so when you manipulate for your own good, and for not necessarily all the time, but for your own good ultimately, and so it might hurt the other person, might not, right?
I think a
It
good
goes
way to-
against what God's image was.
Yeah. I think a good way to look at it is it's like harvesting a field, I guess. Or maybe picking a flower. I think that's a better idea, or metaphor, or whatever. It's like analogy. There we go. Thank you. It's like picking a flower. You're picking the flower. You're killing it. you're killing it. It's like, yes, you're taking it, and you can put it in a bouquet and go give it to the girl that you like or whatever. You can give it to your mom or whatever, and it can seem like a nice thing, but you just killed the flower. You killed the flower, and you took away from something that is beautiful. Whereas, instead, it's like, oh, I could go get some seeds, and I can just plant you some flowers in a planter, and then I'm growing something. I'm making something have life. So manipulation is like, hey, I'm plucking this really out of you. I'm plucking this beautiful thing, and I'm killing it so that I can receive some kind of reward.
Right.
Whereas
that temporary beauty.
Yeah. Whereas if I'm
As, like,
planting something
The
in you,
gesture
Yeah.
of giving is more like kind of like bad intention behind it.
Say that again. I think you got something.
And I kind of went over this last time, but like when you brought up manipulation
Mhm.
the first time, and I asked the question of I think in the context of what is the purpose behind basically the intention of giving something, or you want to say like doing something nice for someone.
Yeah.
Like, what is the motive?
hmm
What is the purpose? What is the intention? Is it something good, or is it something evil? And that'll kind of tell you, like, what are you doing wrong? What are you doing right? In the aspect of, I guess, God,
hmm
in a way of, like plucking the flower. Is there beauty in the intention of giving it to someone? Yes, just because the flower is beautiful, it means something. Like, sometimes the most beautiful things don't last forever.
Yeah.
They don't, and that's what makes them so great.
hmm
But sometimes caring for something is even better.
Yeah.
Just the path that you take in hardship, and you look back and you're just like, wow, that was awesome.
hmm
That experience was so good. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well, and
That's a good point.
for the analogy, I guess the person would have to be the flower. So if I'm picking the flower,
You're killing the person.
I'm killing the person.
Okay.
But if I'm, but I'm doing something good with it, which can make that person feel good, which whatever.
But still, you're killing the person.
But I'm still killing the person. But with planting the flowers, I'm
building people.
building them up. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
helping them grow, watering them. All
It's
that
a
different
total
stuff.
net gain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I'm giving of myself, so it's
Of your
interesting.
own energy.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And
So, are you a flower planting flowers? I'm sorry. I love breaking analogies.
So,
Well, then-
I mean,
where do you receive the most beauty out of it? Is receiving beauty from the planted flowers or the picked flower?
Well, and I think that's interesting because it's really from the planter.
Say again?
The planter.
Meaning,
So you don't get any reward from God for manipulating people.
Okay.
You don't get any, well, I mean, you don't really even get a reward from society other than this pride that builds you up and stirs you to more
manipulation. Okay.
and killing people, really.
In a way.
And so, but when God has planted a flower and you go to maintain it and build it up, I mean, you get to enjoy that flower, right? You
Mhm.
get to enjoy an aroma. You get to enjoy maybe more of these types of flowers. You get to, maybe it's not a flower. Maybe we changed the analogy a little bit, and maybe it's a fruit tree. Maybe it's whatever. God is ultimately the person that planted that flower, and instead of going and destroying it, I get to enjoy it, right? And I think that's
Huh.
an interesting analogy for the church. Is we're not called to join the church and to glean from it
And to
necessarily,
use people
not to use people,
Yeah.
but
to build each other.
well, to serve. And when we serve each other, when we serve the body of Christ, we are, we are harvesting, but we're harvesting rightly.
Yeah.
We're harvesting in the season. We're
We're
harvesting.
creating the way that God intended.
Yeah.
Instead of stealing from each other.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so it's something that God intended, right?
Yeah.
And not just like, I mean, did God intend for us to pick flowers out of the ground and
I think so.
give them to pretty girls? I mean,
'Cause
I
God-
don't know necessarily,
No.
but I know that it kills the flower.
Yeah.
Which
not
isn't
not right away though.
Right.
So God said to Adam and to Eve, like,
Mhm.
you can eat of these trees, and I think that encompasses picking flowers.
Sure.
Right.
But
God
it's
created
more
beauty
than-
for a reason.
Yeah.
Maybe back then people wouldn't pick flowers and put them in the vases, but like we do nowadays.
No.
And I think the purpose of a flower is to be beautiful.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I more mean
I
like,
mean,
did
one of the purposes.
he created fruit-bearing plants and different
For
crops
fruit.
and whatever
Yep.
for us to
But guess what?
harvest and then for it to regrow and
Guess what happens
whatever.
before the fruit is born?
There's flowers.
it does.
Yes. So every piece of fruit comes from a flower.
Yeah. I mean, this analogy falls apart.
But
No, it
so many
certainly does.
ways.
Certainly does. We're talking about the nitty gritty of the
Yeah.
analogy, which is not the point.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and I think back to your thing is just like God gave us dominion over everything.
Yeah.
Mm.
And he's just like giving you dominion, I'm giving you free will, go and do as you please,
Yeah.
but do it in my name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Which is
there's
ultimate service.
something magical about work.
Hmm.
And let me explain what I mean. So you can take from people, or you can, like you said, you can pick the flower,
Mm-hmm.
or you can plant the flower. You can build people up, or you can tear them down to take what they have.
Hmm.
Right. And the instinct that we all have, because we're sinful, is to do what's easiest.
Yeah.
Do what's better for me.
Right.
No matter the cost to you. Right. The magical thing about work, though, is it creates good for everybody out of nowhere,
Hmm.
in a sense.
Yeah.
Right. Nothing is harmed and people are better off. Where does that even come from?
Yeah. That's interesting.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, huh. Yeah, I don't
You
know.
ever thought about that?
No.
I talked to Steven about this a while ago. You remember we were at Chipotle? We were talking about how everybody is sort of doing their best to survive and everything. But like maybe the economy is not the best and like everybody's position is not the best. Maybe there's not enough jobs for everybody, right? But or like AI might take over all the jobs, right?
Yeah.
People are concerned about that and all this stuff. So my argument when we were talking was like we shouldn't have to worry about that.
Hmm.
Like God gave us the innate ability to work,
Mm-hmm.
no matter if we lost our job or not, right? Just because a corporation or a small business says, here's your job, that does not mean that's your job.
Yeah. That's not your
purpose. That's not your
Yeah.
meaning. That's your purpose right
that's
now.
not who you are. That's just what you're deciding to do.
Who you are is a creator that has dominion over what God gave you.
Yeah.
And creating is hard and creating is not easy. And that's something that we try to avoid. So my argument was if everybody took AI
Mhm.
and used it to make their life better and not just sit around and twiddle their thumbs and everybody worked a little bit harder, no one would be without a job. No one would be lacking. No one would be economically,
Destitute.
Yeah.
Sure.
That was the argument.
Yeah.
And I still fully believe that. I do. I think like these drug dealers and these scammers that are just like stealing trillions and trillions of dollars from people's retirement accounts and everything, just tricking them into giving their funds away. Like no good ever came from that, ever does come from that.
Yeah.
It's
Easy money is fast money.
it's literally destroying probably millions of lives.
And I also want to point out, I brought this up during that same conversation, the human interaction part. Like, you take away everyone from, like, even going to the grocery store at the base level of everything. If you don't see other people, what is there to look forward to?
Yeah.
Like, even, like, let's take away, I know some people
There's magic
have
there
this,
too.
like, take away friends, family, everything out of people, like, podcasts. Like, you'd only have one person on each podcast and just looking into a camera with
No
a
viewers.
random topic every single time.
Yeah.
There would be no sense in doing any of it at that point,
Yeah.
I would think. It's just like, why do this? Like,
Hmm.
and then it becomes the thing of, why live?
Yeah. What is the purpose of life without other people, without relationship? So there's magic there too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember me saying that.
No, I do. Yeah.
But
I mean, it's critical. I mean, work is nothing without people, and work is nothing without
Yeah.
multiple people.
Yeah. And it's,
Because you don't have, like, just let's take economy. You don't have an economy unless you have multiple people.
yeah. Well, and it's, you look at how, if you were asked, multi-million-dollar entrepreneur, you know, what I've heard it said so many times, when you go to start a business, you have to solve a problem. What problem are you solving? And they actually carry that into everything. They're like, you know, when I go and make a podcast, when I go and write a book, what problem am I trying to solve? Or what, you know, and it's to say, what's my goal? And I mean, if we were to look at, you know, the Bible, what's the problem that it's trying to solve? Sin.
Death.
You know, and but
Decay.
there's so many. There we go. And there's so many other things wrapped up in that. And it's like, okay, well, what is the purpose of the church? It's to, yes, it's there for the sin issue, but it's also there for the community issue, to help us not be alone, and to continue to move forward in our journey
With Christ.
With Christ, away from our sin.
Yeah.
And because we need people.
We need people, but we need God.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we need God.
Yeah.
And so that's also why the church exists.
Yeah.
It's not to be a social club.
Yeah.
It's to be a social club with God.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I lost my head. Go for it.
I mean, I was going to say, in natural perfumed decay fashion, our cold open has become very hot.
Has become boiling. But the point is, we've answered this question, and it goes so much deeper in so many different ways.
Yeah, we keep hitting more topics.
What are we, like 50,000 minutes into this podcast?
We are
already?
33.
Where do you see that number?
And the bottom right-hand corner.
Oh, perfect. All right. Shall we?
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, this isn't much like the topic of our podcast name. It's something that kind of is ever changing and ever, well, not
the
changing
fruits of our
necessarily,
labor,
but it's ever growing, and it's becoming something more to us. I think there is almost this weirdly inherent point to the name, much like there is an inherent point to forgiveness, and it goes deeper than we could ever really understand. And I think I am likening it to our podcast name, because I feel like it just, as we think more on it, it just gets deeper and deeper. Not necessarily for everybody else, but I mean, at least it serves me in a weird way. But I think that's a good opportunity for us to transition into the next part.
Yeah. I had like 2 great points, and if I had a pad and a pencil, I would have wrote them down.
Your pad is on the floor, actually, like underneath the but
thank you, sir. I got the pencil too.
Stephen, do you want to
transition us?
Take us into the perfumed portion.
Sure. So, off what we were talking, basically, we're going to go into a spiritual and truthful place about God's word within this meaning of get the topic now.
We're talking about the 2 trees in the Garden of Eden. Well, excuse me, the 2 types of trees. There's speculation that it was not just 2 trees, but anyways.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way I've heard of it is just there's one center tree,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Um,
What's the intro?
I want to
Are you finished with the intro?
Pretty much.
I want to point out that my analogy about the flowers and the seed planting and growing and whatever, and then we're gonna talk about
Flowers.
fruit. Yeah, we're gonna talk about these 2 trees.
Where does the fruit
which is
come from?
crazy. What are the fruit?
Is fruits delicious?
What is fruit?
Is
Is it
jam
fruit?
fruit? Is
Is
it fruits?
So
It's like, is it cake? Is it fruits?
Is it fruits?
Magically
crazy.
delicious, like Lucky Charms.
So
what?
Magically delicious, like Lucky Charms.
Oh yeah, probably.
Gosh, getting into it. The 2 trees. What are the 2 trees, Daniel?
The tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
We know about one of the trees, at least to some degree. At least its effect, because it led to death. right?
Yeah,
Well,
the
that's
tree of life was not that.
No.
Stephen?
yeah. I would just say what most people know as the tree is the tree of knowledge and death. Basically,
Yeah.
what led up to it.
I know that tree too well.
Knowledge and death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
knowledge
live
could
it.
be a gift or a curse.
Yeah.
Well, it's not knowledge itself. It's
It's knowledge of good and evil.
and it's not even that. It's the fact that they disobeyed God.
Yeah, that's ultimately what brought
Yeah.
on to the death.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder. So the trees were put there,
Mhm.
but if I remember, we should actually. I'm actually going to look at it, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure God says, "Do not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil." He doesn't say anything about the tree of life,
Really?
which makes it seem as though we could eat
Of the tree of
of
life.
the tree of life.
And yet, we chose not to? Where are we looking in the Bible here, Michael?
So we are in chapter 3.
All right.
So, but I'm actually going to start in chapter 2. Sorry.
Mhm.
Then the Lord God, this verse 15.
Okay.
Then the Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to cultivate it and keep it. The Lord God commanded the man, saying, "From any tree of the garden you may eat freely, but from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat from it you will surely die." And then if we go to verse 3, yeah, it's talking about that tree of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil.
Sorry, where are we again?
Technically, this is chapter 3, but it
Chapter
doesn't-
3, verse.
starting the very first verse.
Okay.
But it doesn't say which tree. It says, "Now the serpent was more crafty than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made, and he said to the woman, Indeed, God said, you shall not eat from any tree of the..." Oh,
Indeed? Did God actually say?
Indeed, God said, "You shall not eat from any tree of the garden." The woman said, said to the serpent, "From the fruit of the trees of the garden we may eat, but from the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden, God said, you shall not eat." That's interesting. So she doesn't even say what tree it is necessarily. The serpent says, in verse 4, the serpent said to the woman, "You surely will not die, for God knows that in the day you eat from it, your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." So he's alluding to that tree. But yeah, it doesn't say anything about the tree of life.
Did God say anything about it?
At the end of it, after the end of the curses, let's see. Behold, the man. Oh, then the Lord God said, "Behold, the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. And now he might stretch out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever." So it's referenced. Therefore, the Lord God sent him out from the Garden of Eden to cultivate the ground from which he was driven. So he drove the man out, and at the east of the Garden of Eden he stationed the cherubim and the flaming sword, which turned every direction to guard the way to the tree of life.
There it is. Okay. Chapter 2:17.
Okay.
But the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. You shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. That is God.
Mm-hmm.
So God named the tree of the knowledge of good and evil,
Mm-hmm.
and the tree of life. So there's our answer there.
And what do you mean, and the tree of life?
Well, you just read the end of the curses.
Yeah.
And he refers to it as the tree of life, that the angel guarded the entry to the garden so that they may not eat from the tree of life. No?
Yeah. So that they may not also eat of the tree of life.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is confirmed 2 trees.
Yeah.
At least.
There's
other trees that are harmless.
Sure.
They're not part of the equation.
Yeah.
Right. And do you think that these trees are special in any kind of way besides what God said about them?
I think that I don't think anything has power without God, right?
Fair.
Without God allowing it to, especially
when we just finished chapter 1 where it said God said and then several times.
Yeah.
And everything that we know and are came from what God said.
Yeah. And with that, it's like he didn't, how do I put this? When I go and create something or when I go and use a pen, okay, I am only, in my mind, what I'm doing is I'm just making this line, right? But in reality, there's a deep intricacy, not only to the ink, but to the pen, an intricacy that I can't fathom. And so when God created everything, he didn't just put ink on paper. He created it to function a certain way, to react in certain ways, to just be a certain way in any and every situation. Because if you take one unit of any type of material in the whole world and you apply it to every other material in the whole universe, you're going to get a reaction. And that is God's intent for that thing. You're not going to all of a sudden,
God's not going to be surprised if you write on the sun and it doesn't burn up.
Yeah, you're not gonna one day like take a piece of paper and then there's like this firewall that comes up. It's like, oh, I'm not able to apply to this thing because that
you don't
that
have the battle pass.
Yeah, I don't have the battle pass. I can't go this far because this is the boundary line. It's like no, like God made it to where everything has a reaction. That's a really interesting thing. Like, it's like
there's no
in video
boundaries.
games we have that idea of like, oh, I can't apply certain things to other things
because it hasn't been programmed yet.
It hasn't been programmed that way. But God programmed everything.
The ultimate video game programmer.
Dude, Jesus is a gamer.
RPG.
Jesus is an avatar. Let's not get into that.
Jesus is an avatar of the dev.
Yeah. That's crazy. Wow. Tell me you love heresy without telling me. I'm just kidding.
I don't. To be clear.
Yeah, I don't.
I think it's just funny to say things in ways that we don't.
It is funny.
Think of.
But that is crazy. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
But we're never gonna get to that point. And so what we're reading is surface level in the creation account. We're reading, okay, we got...
Oh, I see.
We got creatures, we got plants, we got...
Well, no. I see what you mean by surface level, but to put it another way, like, this is a 50 million, foot view.
Yeah.
Of creation.
Yeah.
It's not getting into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah. Well, it's like your the cone visual.
Sure.
Like, we're only able to see so much, and there's so much outside of our peripherals that we're just not gonna
can a character in the game
we're getting into simulation theory apparently. Okay.
Can a piece of creation understand the creation as a whole is the question.
The creation, like
all of creation as a whole, not God.
It's like the cone theory that you were talking about.
Sort of. This is a different take on it, though.
Well, I would say,
but like understanding everything that's within that.
Yeah.
I would say you'd have to be able to let's say that all of creation stems from one type of molecule. We'll say all of creation
X molecule.
Sure. X molecule, and everything in all of existence
stems from that.
Is from that, like is
But you
made
still have
out
to
of that.
figure out how everything came from that.
Yeah, so you have to figure out how everything came from that, and then you have to apply the different, I guess, versions of that thing or those creations and apply it to the rest of creation. And if you can do that, then I think you can understand creation fully. But if you can't do that, which you can't without
here's
an eternity of time.
No, that's a good argument, but here's another one that I thought of. So if God created all of the universe and then gave us all knowledge of how the entire universe was created, how everything works, how everything is made, how everything functions together in its entirety, which would be ridiculous. Our brains would be the size of the solar system. Actually, no, it'd be the same size because God's insane like that.
Yeah.
Take it back. But if you knew everything about the universe, the one thing that you would not know is how the heck God was able to do that. How did he stuff all that information to your brain, dude? How? And even if you knew, you don't know for sure. You don't know, like, you weren't there for it. Like there's a difference between knowing and knowing, you know? You know what I mean? You know what I mean, dude?
Okay.
Yeah, basically off that point, I don't think it is possible.
Yeah.
Just because alone in this fact, there have been many people that have known many different languages, but they can't understand all of them.
Fair.
Yeah.
And guess what God did in an afternoon? Created all of those languages.
That and again it
that's just one subsection of human knowledge.
We can think about
human knowledge, not universal, like the whole universe of knowledge.
Yeah. Well, like think about the firmament, right?
Good point.
We have the firmament, right? That's referenced in the Bible. But that is a human articulation of something that I don't think I'm compelled to believe that we actually know entirely what it is.
What the firmament is.
Yeah. Like is it just the space between the earth and
the atmosphere,
the space outside of our atmosphere, or is it beyond that?
How would Moses have known that?
Yeah,
I think we see John writing down Revelations, and he has no idea what he's writing down. The angel just tells him to write it down.
Sure.
So do you think Moses was sort of doing the same thing? God's like, here's a scientific word, and Moses is like, sure, I'll write that down.
I think he had the language for it. I think he had because we're getting back into my book because the word determination is completely terminate. Okay, so you have to take the data that you have and you have to come up with a boundary line. You have to do whatever you possibly can to just answer whatever problem you're trying to answer or solve or whatever. You have to take whatever limited time that you have and you have to just come up with something or whatever makes the most sense is what you're going to completely terminate to. That's you're gonna cancel out everything else that doesn't make sense and you're gonna be like, this is the only thing that makes sense. And so that's language. It's I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think we really understand language, but because I think that Adam was created and he just spoke.
Yeah.
And so language just was. And then he named all the creatures, right?
Yeah, that's proof for my argument is like he knew how to speak, but he didn't know how he knew how to speak.
Yeah, so it's like it's just these sounds, and then if you think about every other or it's sounds that are directed at specific things.
Yeah.
And you know,
sounds that represent
I make this sound and you understand it because I'm looking at this sound. Or when you're a child, it's like, hey, this is and, you know, and that's and you know, and
with the slight inflection.
Yeah. Well, and that's what ends up being language, right? And we have to just take whatever sounds that we hear and give them a name
and agree upon
it. And you know, as we have developed as people, we've just come up with whatever makes sense.
Isn't that just another form of magic? Doesn't that just boggle your mind? Yeah, language.
I mean, do we fully understand how the voice box works?
I don't even think we understand how cells work, to be honest with you.
Do we
No.
fully understand sound?
Just because of like cell neuron inputs,
Mhm.
like even with sound and language, like the interpretation between like what you're saying is sound. You have to realize too that there might be different inputs that from the ear canal that it takes in and sends to your brain. Each word is different
Yeah.
electrical signals. So I
Yeah.
don't think we.
How does it even do that?
Yeah,
And
it's just
and
like
that's always the question, right? It's like,
How?
okay, we understand that gravity works a certain way, but like,
But
where did the
why?
gravity come from?
We don't know, dude.
We don't know.
We still don't know.
And we still we're
We're looking for a particle, maybe.
yeah. But then we're gonna find that particle, and guess what's gonna happen? We're gonna be like, so how
Where
did
did
this
it come
particle
from?
do
Dude.
this thing? Like we know that we can make sound. We know that it's two things that are kind of doing whatever. But how? Why? What's happening?
There's always a new question.
Yeah.
Always.
Um,
What's the point?
I don't know. But I think we need to make our way back to the trees.
Yeah.
But so when it comes to the knowledge of good and evil, right?
Right. That's where we tangent
I
is the knowledge.
So
Like we can know.
there's something interesting about this topic.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about limited knowledge, right? We don't understand sound, we don't understand gravity necessarily like fully, and there's always going to be more questions, right? But the knowledge of good and evil
Mhm.
is that the same?
What do you mean?
Is that
Hold
the
on.
same? Is that
I think-
does that do we come to the same questions of why? Like always having more questions about
evil?
good and evil.
Why is it good? Why is it evil?
Yeah.
how do you understand what is good
Well,
or what is evil?
That's true. That's a good point.
Because
why?
it's
Where do they come from?
It's something that has to be taught. In the fact of like, I'm gonna touch the stove. It's hot. Is it good or is it bad?
But that's like,
Well,
you know what I'm trying to
so
say?
basically, no, I don't.
That's
But
so
this-
that's
not a moral issue.
that's not a that's not a moral issue. That's more of a
This-
a consequence of the way the world is created.
Yeah, this
Right.
this tree is basically the tree of morality.
And I would say I think we all are born with a concept of what is moral and what is not.
Right.
And where does that come from? But my initial reaction was, no, we don't debate these things if we really are honest with ourselves. But then I thought about it, and we do debate these things.
Mm-hmm. But why
Amongst-
do we debate?
Amongst Christians, we debate these things.
Yeah.
But should we?
Yes,
If we were, yes, why?
because in the way, God basically knows what is good and what is wrong. Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't know how to speak today. He knows what is best, and he knows the right answers. You could ask him every single question, and he's going to know the answer no matter what, even on moral questions. And
I would say especially in moral questions.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, especially anything.
Yeah.
Well, even the most funniest thing I've ever seen is like adults asking toddlers, like, "What do you think about this?" And they flat out just say it. They, as you said, I think, in a way, they do know what is morally good and what is morally wrong, because they don't really tell lies as much as like we would. Like
They don't have a good filter for themselves yet.
yeah.
Because we always filter what we're saying through a lens of like, is this going to be good for me if I say this? And so I think we do the same thing in our minds of like, is this going to be good for me if I believe this? And most of the time it's not, because what is ultimately good, we don't do. And so if we are going to believe that, then we have to believe that we are miserable liars, miserable haters, miserable murderers. We're just like, we are evil to our core. And no one wants to believe that. Not a single soul wants to believe that they're evil. Even Hitler thought he wanted to believe that he was doing good for Germany. He was doing good for the world by exterminating the Jews. And don't ask me why. I have no idea. But that's a common thread, is like, you look at criminals that do horrible atrocities to other people, and they justified it in a way that to them, it seems like it was necessary. It seems like it was not only necessary, but it was good.
Yeah.
and they were somehow the good guy in the story.
But is that the same as the questions of like we have sound, and the deeper we go into sound, the more questions we have of to why? Is it the same question of why? So I'll throw out a scenario because there is a technical gray area, at least in our society, but abortion, right? So there is a sense of a gray area. Granted, it is found in a minority, and it's not to say that a minority doesn't matter, but in a vast understanding of data, you don't take the outlier and be like, oh, this defines the data.
Can you explain what the gray area is?
The gray area is, if the mother is going to die, or also if this was a rape situation. These two things, it's like, should I keep this child to live, or should I keep this child so that, I don't have this reminder of this rape or whatever? And then this idea of, a woman is in control of her body. Her decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's those types of gray areas where it's like, okay, yeah, rape is awful, and having a child from that is awful in some way, shape, or form. And yes, if you are going to die, like, that sucks. And that's not like you dying or the child dying. Like, that's weird. Like I don't know. Well, excuse me, I do know what reaction I would have.
Yeah.
But that's not an everybody thing. Not everybody is going to have the same reaction, obviously. And so, but does that still come to the point of why? Why do we have those questions? Why is this a morally gray area for this? Or do we know
What is the right choice?
what is the right choice, and we're just suppressing the truth?
I think it's because we can't truly understand it.
I see your point there, Stephen, because it's like we don't know where this. I mean, we know where this morality comes from. It comes from God, and it comes from God's character.
Mm-hmm.
And His character is consistent, and He lays it out in good detail. I wouldn't say perfect detail, but good detail in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I don't say perfect detail is because you would need infinity to understand God, and even still, you would be scratching the surface barely.
Sure.
So in that way, there is a question of what is God's character in this situation, right? Even the Bible doesn't present an answer to where does a child go if he dies before he can make even a thought of like, should I trust that Jesus died for my sins and God raised him from the dead, right?
Right.
Does that child go to heaven? And the Bible doesn't really speak to that all too much. And so I think, yeah, there is moral, quote unquote, moral gray areas of what is right and wrong. But I think our initial reaction of like, we do know what's right and we choose to believe what's convenient is a huge player in the field.
Yeah.
Because what the Bible says about the heart, the heart is deceitful above all things, right? Don't believe it.
Yeah.
Don't live by it, because you'll be led astray.
Yeah.
In every single possible way.
Well, and I think there's a point that needs to be made. And granted, I feel I'm often a source of generalizations. Oversimplification, maybe, is a better way of putting it. But
in general,
I think it's interesting. I'm gonna throw this out here, and you guys can have the reaction that you want. But the scenario in which I struggle with the most is not the rape one, but it's trying to decide who lives.
Okay.
Is it the mom
or
is it the
baby
child?
Mm-hmm.
Not because I mean, in the moment, I know what decision I'd make.
What decision would you make?
It would be the child.
Really?
And it's the child because and I would get so much hate for this.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be your wife.
Well, but it's the child because, one, that is my offspring. That is my legacy. That is the not necessarily my legacy, but that is a person that can grow and has more life to live beyond me, beyond my family, beyond my wife, obviously beyond my wife, if she is at risk of dying. And, that's not to say that the child has more purpose, but in a sense more opportunity because it has more life to live now. And, if it's my wife and she's the one that's going to die, it's not, I'm not valuing her life based off of how much time she has, but, it's like we set out to have a child that we want to see grow. And now we're going to go and kill that child. And, it's not a one-to-one, but if you think about it, like as a father, I'm going to go and die 100%, a million times out of a million times for my child. If there's anything that comes in the way between me and my child, I'm going to go and die. If it is pretty clear that I'm going to go and die, if I have to go and fight a freaking army, I'm going to go and fight that freaking army. My child is going to be running. I'm going to hold back the army. I don't care. And it's like, that's my child. Of course I'm going to die for the child. Of course I'm going to let the child live. They have more, like I would want my wife to value her child's life above her own.
Mm-hmm.
And I would dare say that I think that God would want us to value the children's life above our own.
You think so?
Because it's a weird form of service. But again, I struggle with this because it's like, well, I want to keep the wife, I want her to stay around. There's any number of things in which could create the scenario. But that's, but at the same time, it's like, well, with the child, we made the child. It's half and half of us. You know?
So I think this actually answers a question. Maybe. Because we can debate like this moral gray area, but the fact that moral gray areas exist, I feel like answers the question itself.
You're crazy, dude.
What?
Well,
You're reading
here,
my
let's
mind.
just give our opinion on it first.
Yeah, I'll give my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I would save if my wife was out and she wasn't part of the decision making process, which of course I would talk to her before.
Sure.
And if this scenario happens, what do we want to do? But ultimately, I feel my calling as the husband is to lay down my life for my wife.
Yeah.
Because the picture of marriage is of Jesus and the church.
Yeah.
And a child is the fruit of that marriage.
Yeah.
It's a blessing from God. But at the end of the day, we live in a sinful world, which makes it really complex. And we have to make really difficult decisions.
That's crazy to me that we're on the same
wavelength.
I'm going to explain later, but yes,
okay.
Continue.
And it's kind of, it has, I mean, you guys have probably played this game, like, would you rather, and then someone gives you a scenario that you'd rather just, never had that scenario.
Yeah, just,
right?
Let's not do it.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it. Thank you. I don't want to play this game no more. I know it's just a game, but like, come on. That's a horrible choice I have to make.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same scenario here. Right? This is a horrible choice you have to make no matter what.
Yeah.
To let the child live or to let your wife live. And to be the one who has to make that decision. How do you think God feels? Do I let my son live or do I command him to die for his bride?
Yeah.
So now flip the situation, Michael, you're grandpa now or about to be.
Sure.
And your son is making the decision. He comes to you, says, hey, my wife is either going to die or our child is going to make it. What do I do? I would say, son, you need to prioritize your wife over that child because of what Jesus did for us and because of how God commanded his son to lay down his life for his bride. You aren't to lay down your life for your child. You're to lay your life down for the bride. And it's so sad that you have to make this decision. You shouldn't ever have to make this decision.
Yeah.
This is a result of the fall. This is the curse. This is sin.
That brings up a really good point, but I want to hear what Stephen has to say.
Yeah, me too.
In this, before we move on.
I think I mainly agree with Daniel. Just in alone the fact, and I'm going to go back to it. God is the head of the church. The church is the body, and we are basically the image of that. So the father is God, the mother is the church, and the kids could be like Adam and Eve. basically a boy and a girl. And so you are supposed to prioritize your wife more over your children. And I do believe that's where it lies. And I've had a clear understanding of this. It's just like if there's a house fire, let's say, I may not get saved.
Yeah.
Like I may not get help. So I must fend for myself. Being Adam. Like I am in the wilderness. I have no other choice. If this is the end, this is the end. If not, it's on me. Totally on me. So that's where I lie. And let's bring up this scenario. Like you guys were saying, if it was your life or the child's life and the wife had no say in it, I would sacrifice my life instantly.
Yeah.
Like instantly, without a thought. If it was my wife's life or the child's life, it would be an absolutely hard debate.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Yeah.
But I think my mind would absolutely go to, and I'm not saying I wouldn't regret it for the rest of my life. It would go to my wife, unfortunately.
I mean, Daniel brought up a good point that, it has to be a conversation, right? It can't just be,
Yes.
oh, I'm just going to make this decision, or she's just going to make the decision. And
no, you are one.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You're a unit. You don't separate. You don't make those decisions separately, especially those types of decisions. You make them together, and you have to consult her on her perspective. I mean, because in that moment, I think it would definitely be important to be like, okay, hey, this is your body. and granted, it is also mine, because I'm your husband, but you have to endure this.
And this is the other tough part, that you may have to explain, just like, and this is super survival like thought. This is just one kid.
Sure.
We can have another.
Yeah.
It's the unfortunate truth for sure. And I don't even like to say this.
Yeah.
But you can always have another kid.
Yeah, I definitely thought about that too. When he was talking, it is, and the really unfortunate part about that is that the child being born doesn't have any practical uses, I guess. They're just taking from you. I've heard it said that children are parasites, and I mean, they're not really giving anything back other than this great opportunity to love them. And granted, yes, that absolutely. I'm not saying that shouldn't be important. I'm not saying that they have no value. I'm saying that in a practical sense. But what I was going to say, actually, in regards to, I guess, more on your guys' perspective is, I think this is out there, so bear with me. But what you said about how God basically, I mean, he gave up his son, and we see that with Abraham as well, with Isaac, and how there's this sacrificing of your offspring for the, I mean, greater good, I guess, which is in this sense the church, or the unity between God and the church, right? What did you say?
And correct me if I'm wrong. I could absolutely butcher this, the names between this. Wasn't it Abraham that God asked if he would sacrifice his son on the mountain?
Yeah. That's what I was alluding to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
No, you're good. So again, this is kind of out there. Maybe that is a good argument for the idea that God doesn't send children or the unborn or whatever list of people to hell. Because I think, granted, Isaac was older, but I wonder if God would have sent Isaac to hell if Abraham had actually killed him.
We don't know if Isaac was saved or not,
right? And then that's
and also the function of salvation back then.
Sure, but it's this idea that God would sacrifice his son. So
I mean, even with God, it's a excuse the language, but it's a choice.
Sure,
God had the ultimate would you rather, and he chose us over his son.
Yeah. Well, and but at the same time, technically his son is himself. So he chose
Sure.
he chose to sacrifice himself, which to
But
your
we're,
point
we're
is
talking
still
God the
kind
Father
of
and God the Son.
right.
So we can't just.
But he sacrificed a part of himself. Is
We
really
can't even
what it
say
comes
that.
to. Well, no.
We're going to get
because-
into heresy here.
Well, no. I'm saying because Jesus is God,
Mhm.
and so
And man.
he and man,
Yeah.
and so he is. I mean, in the Trinity, he's just like, oh, I'm gonna endure what man endures, and then some,
But
and take on the sin in which I have never. He hasn't touched.
someone's
right?
got to pay the consequences.
Yeah, and so he's sacrificing. Not necessarily. He's not like losing anything. Because he is whole and he's perfect, but he's taking on an extreme offense, even greater than us just sinning against him. He's like, oh, I'm just going to take all the sin and I'm going to experience all of it, basically, which is awful.
Yeah, and I'm not sure the way that I explain forgiveness is totally accurate because the offended still pays the price. God was the offended.
Yeah.
Jesus paid the price.
Yeah.
So was Jesus dying on the cross the picture of God's states of offense? Or was it God pouring out on his son, God the Father pouring out on his son, his need of justice?
Right.
Because that's his character.
Yeah.
Right. Was it a picture? Was it a fulfillment of his justice? I would say it's more a fulfillment of his justice than a picture. I will never understand the function entirely of the cross and why it had to be that way. But I know it's one of the most foolish ways
You just answered the question.
for it to be done.
Yeah. You just answered my question.
Okay.
The initial question about if morality or if this good and evil comes to a why question.
Okay.
And will continue to come to a why question. Because what you just said is we don't understand the fullness of the cross in that we don't really we understand that God said that the forgiveness of sins is through the blood of the lamb, right? But why, right?
Yeah.
And so it
What's the math?
and then it keeps going, right? So
Why does
that's good.
humanity's sin minus Jesus equal 0? I have no clue.
Yeah.
No
It's
idea.
an interesting math. Yeah. Well, and so yeah, that's
I have a
that's
vague
good.
concept,
Sure.
but all of that comes from what God revealed in his word.
Yeah.
And even still, I have questions.
Yeah.
And that's sort of where the faith has to come in and just believe God at what he said, that it is fulfilled, that it is totelestai, it is finished.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Kind of deviating away from what we've been on. Why the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? Why not the tree of life?
What do you mean?
I feel like
I think since God created life himself,
yeah.
why would there need to be a tree of life?
That's a good
at that
question.
point?
Yeah. Is that what you meant?
Sorry, no. It's more like why would he say don't eat of this tree and not of the other tree? Because I feel like trying to live forever could almost be a slightly greater offense because trying to live forever is basically like, is another sense of, I'm going to be God. Because now that I can live forever, I can achieve that. It's like the Tower of Babel. It's like, the higher I get, the more that I can do, whatever, the more that I'm capable of. I mean, I see AI as kind of
I was going to say
Tower of Babel. It's like the further I can get,
the further the AI
closer
can
to God
teach
I
itself,
can get.
and
And so, I mean, it's
become
the
an ASI.
Yeah, it's the even greater. It's a maybe we just see this now, but it's the hubris of man thinking, if I have enough time, I can achieve anything, right?
There's a lot of stories about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of throwing out this question, but I think it's interesting that it was not the tree of life that this issue arose with, but it's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Here's 2 questions for you. Would the tree of life led to any bad at that point?
I guess, well, and to to Daniel's point, do the trees actually hold any kind of power, or is it just the act that is, or the intent in which the significance
Or rather,
arrives?
what God said.
Yeah, but you're basically saying if there's I'm just taking this as this. If there was no tree of knowledge, there's just a tree of life. Like no tree of knowledge, no tree of good. I mean, evil. My bad. Just a tree of life. Would there be any wrongs within that tree?
Within the tree of life itself.
Yes.
So if that was the only tree.
And I would say no, just because God said when he created everything, even life, this is good. I would say no, there would not be.
That's fair. Okay.
Do you think us discussing morality is, in effect, the result of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil?
Probably.
So at its core, are we discussing, well, I guess us discussing is not us eating of the tree, but eating of the tree is man's hubris to think that the creation can understand the creation from the creator's perspective.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll ever be able to understand the moral gray area?
In this life?
Ever?
Going back to that, actually, depends. I'm going back to when we were talking about the scenarios. But the track that you were on, had to do with, this is we've made jokes about it in the anchor group, but this is a result of the fall. And so the question almost shouldn't be, is this like, which is the right answer, or, which one's bad, which one's wrong, or whatever. It's all bad.
All bad.
And the reality is that the fact that you even get the chance to think that I'm going to abort my child, apart from those scenarios, is just all bad. Killing life is just not good. We know we know that death.
It's not the initial design.
Yeah, we know that death is just awful, and we don't feel good about death.
No, we know that.
Yeah, and we know that, and so to go back to me being to overgeneralizing things, I almost don't want to have the conversation, the debate, because if we're talking about which is bad and which is good, the answer is
both.
No.
They're both bad.
It's like that's not the right question, because
What's the right question?
Because it's not about whether this is good or bad. It's that this is awful, that we have to endure this. Like you're saying, like, I'd rather not have gone through this at all. Like, can we choose option C?
Yeah. Is there an option? No, thank you.
Yeah, but it's like we're in the midst of this because of the fall. And so it's not a question of, is this good or bad? It's a question of, which decision am I going to make, and can I live with that? And can I glorify God in the midst of that? And the answer to both questions in the scenario of wife or child is yes. I can glorify God with both options. And it's the difference between like, oh, which job do I choose? Like, do I choose this one? I can glorify God over here. Like, that's fine. Do I choose this one? It's like, oh, I can glorify God over here. It's like, but it's the awful version of that, where it's like, oh, I can glorify God with my child, or I can glorify God with my wife.
So you're saying that's the neutrally moral and the morally gray.
Yeah.
Is in effect the same, consequentially.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say consequentially, morally.
Mm-hmm.
But meaning you can choose one or the other, and you're not making a bad choice, or you're not making a wrong choice, sinful choice.
Sure.
To be specific.
Yeah.
But the morally gray is the result of sin and the result of the curse, and no matter the choice we make in that situation, it's all bad.
Yeah. Well,
where a moral neutral area would be, like you said, should I choose job A or B?
Yeah.
Like either one, whatever, like both of them are a blessing.
Yeah. Well, and I would even say that, and granted, this is further speculation, but like, we don't live the ways that we do because, I would say, because of God's intent. I think, honestly, we'd still be living hundreds of years, and childbearing wouldn't be the way that it is. Jobs wouldn't be the way that they are. Families wouldn't be the way that they are.
Well, we wouldn't have the need for selfish incentive structures.
Yeah. And it's...
I personally think we would be more selfish, to be honest with you.
What do you mean by that?
like just think about how like when you age, you become, like they say that you become more self-centered.
Right.
I think even if you were to live longer, you would just become more selfish.
But that's
Pre-fall.
That's yeah. We're talking about pre-fall. So before they eat of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, like we would just be working and having dominion over the earth. We wouldn't need clothes.
Hold on.
We wouldn't need to build structures.
Hold on.
We wouldn't need to do all these different
Hold on.
things.
I know you're making a great point.
Sure.
You just said something that sort of opened my eyes.
Okay.
The knowledge of good and evil makes people selfish, makes people sinful. Here's how.
Okay. I'm ready. By the way, this all, I mean, naturally, of course it would, but it feeds into the next portion of
Perfect.
the podcast, and I'm so hyped about it.
Perfect.
Because it really, it's, I couldn't have
Golden.
written it better myself, and I did
Yeah.
write it.
Yeah. So here's how. If you don't know how your decision is going to affect your outcome, how do you make the wrong decision? How do you make the selfish decision?
You said so many things
don't we have
in
that
such a
already?
small amount of time. Please say that.
If you don't know how,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know good and evil, the difference between the two,
Mm-hmm.
how are you, as a creation that God made to be good, supposed to choose wrong and know that the choice you're making is good for yourself and bad for others?
Okay, this is wild. I love this question. Animals.
Okay.
Anything that they do, is it a moral issue?
No.
There it is.
Then it goes back to the thing that we were talking about. Do animals get to get into heaven?
Well, we all know my opinion.
Yeah.
I agree.
But-
I hope they get into heaven. I hope.
No, I think so.
Just alone in the fact of we were the ones that did something wrong.
Yeah.
They didn't.
All of creation cries out. Romans 8.
Like, yeah.
But also, like, they get to suffer. All of creation suffers because of what we did, like you said. But also, since there is no moral question, like God didn't say, hey, animals, here's the tree of life. You may eat of it. Here's the tree of good and evil. Don't eat of this.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you like zebras, whatever you call it, were walking up, giraffes were walking up, eating up the knowledge of good and evil, you know?
Hmm.
And God wasn't like batting an eye at it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, giraffes is going to do what a giraffe is going to do, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not a moral issue, like
Yeah.
you said, for them. And so why would there be a giraffe in hell or a giraffe not existing anymore? Why would God not just bring that giraffe back?
I think this is something that we want to talk about more.
Yeah.
It's come up twice now.
It has, yeah.
I don't necessarily want to touch on that.
No.
It's the idea that creatures,
Hmm.
and really how I guess our world works, which I don't think necessarily changed due to the fall, but herbivores, they go and they eat plants to live.
Yep.
And then the herbivore gets killed and eaten by a carnivore. And maybe that carnivore.
But before there was no carnivores, right?
Huh?
Before the fall, pre-fall, there was no carnivores, right?
How do we know that?
How would the carnivores eat?
They ate plants. That's a whole different topic. Let's address that.
So even further, how about, or different? When it rains, rocks deteriorate.
Is that sinful in of itself?
It's not, it's not even, I don't think it's even very close
Well-
to a moral issue. It's just how it works.
Right. So that distinguishes destruction from morality.
Right.
That distinguishes a bad day from a good day
Mm-hmm.
and good and sin, right?
Well, I don't think it just distinguishes a good day from a bad day. I think it's just that creation is functioning the way that God intended, no matter what, other than man because of sin in the world, right? So if we were to not eat of the knowledge of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, like you said, we wouldn't know, because whatever we did would just be a result of how God intended us to act.
We would be working, we'd be naming, we'd be
and it would
having
be
domain.
It'd be the same as the animals. The animals would just, I mean, whether or not they're eating other animals,
It's not the point.
it's not the point. They're still doing the things in which God intended.
Yeah.
Because
They don't know anything else.
they don't know anything else. And I think that's a great point. I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, here's to bolster that.
Mhm.
What did Adam and Eve do immediately after eating from the tree of good and evil?
They cover themselves up
They
and
covered
hid.
themselves up. Why? Let's pull it up.
That's interesting. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure it says that they were ashamed.
Well, why? Why would they have to feel ashamed? Let's see here. All right, starting from chapter 3, where the serpent is discussing with Eve. Let's start in verse 4. But the serpent said to the woman, "You will not surely die, for God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil."
Your eyes will be opened.
A lie. Go
I have
ahead.
the answer, but no, continue.
Okay. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took of its fruits and ate. And she also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate. Then the eyes of both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves loincloths. And they heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God among the trees of the garden. So let me reread this.
Hold on. Go to the end of verse 11.
Have you eaten of the tree which I commanded you not to eat?
No, I'm
That
sorry.
part?
I was going
Just
to
read verse
keep
11.
reading until 9.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay, let me start from 7.
Okay.
Then the eyes of both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves loincloths. And they heard the sound of the Lord walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God among the trees of the garden. But the Lord God called to the man, and said to him, "Where are you?" And he said, "I heard the sound of you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself." God said, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree which I commanded you not to eat?"
Okay.
How did?
Okay. What? Okay. Huge question here.
Okay.
What is good and evil?
Good day, bad day?
No. So, okay, if God is good, what is evil?
Not God.
Not God. What technically before creation was not of God?
Nothing.
But we have the presence of the serpent
Yep.
in the garden,
Uh-huh.
which is,
Not God.
but is a
Serpent.
serpent. Yes. But
Jesus.
no, definitely a Sunday school answer.
I'm getting Sunday school flashbacks.
No, we're not.
It would be evil.
Yeah. So I mean, technically it's speculation that the serpent is the devil, right? So what is good and evil? It's the knowledge of the spiritual realm. Here we go. So it would be really weird for God to be like, "Who told you that you were naked?" As if he knew that being naked was wrong. Isn't that odd? Isn't that strange?
Yeah.
So, but if he...
Because it wasn't before.
It wasn't.
Now it is, for sure. If
now-
you go walking around naked, you're going to get arrested.
Yeah. But it's the idea that God understood this concept of nakedness and why it would be not good, or why they would be feeling the way that they are, right? And he asked them, "Who told you?" Right? And it was not God. It was not an angel. It was a fallen angel, assumedly, right?
No, Satan didn't tell him.
Right. But
They just knew.
No. I'm saying it's the fact that they are now subject to the spiritual world, so they see it. So there's the forces of darkness, right, that are lying to you, and then there's the forces of light, which are telling you the truth, right?
So are you saying that it's the fact that they listened and obeyed the
it's
serpent?
the fact that when you gain the knowledge of good and evil, you can hear both sides.
Ooh. And so both sides has influence.
Yeah.
Why would evil win over good?
It wouldn't.
Why did it in this situation?
It didn't.
It did. They clothed themselves with loincloths.
I mean,
with fig leaves.
it's not that it won necessarily, it's that they chose it. They wanted it.
But we choose it constantly.
Yeah.
Why
Here's
does it
my
win
next
every
question,
time?
Though. Why would God allow it?
Well, I have an answer for that. Can we circle back to that?
I think we should actually answer that first. I
Why?
think that'll help.
No, that's good. It's a huge tangent.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's the idea that we have the option of choice, right? And choosing against God is a choice, right? So obviously they did that, but they didn't necessarily understand why. right? They didn't have any knowledge of
Like why it was
the
wrong.
rest of the world, I would say. They didn't have this knowledge. All they knew was that they're in a garden. God told them what to do, who to be, and they deviated from that. And now that deviation has opened their eyes and their ears to every other kind of thing that could be communicated to them. And obviously the first thing they do is they see with their eyes, right, what's going on, what's being communicated, and that it's good. The good is saying one thing, but the darkness is saying, or the evil is saying another thing.
But they were aware of Satan's voice before they ate.
They could hear Satan's voice.
Yeah.
But just because you look at something that's evil doesn't mean that you understand it.
Doesn't mean you're going to do it.
It doesn't really mean anything.
I would look at it as like an old grandfather clock. You could hear the chimes in every 15 minutes. Are you going to pay attention to them though?
If you don't know what they are.
It's not necessarily if you know what they are. If you hear them every single day and you get used to them, are you going to pay attention anymore?
No, it's just part of your world. Is that your idea?
And this is just speculation, but like let's say Adam and Eve are in the garden for a number of days. They can hear the voices of, and they've had conversations with God before, and they can hear Satan and his antics and like trying to coerce them into doing different stuff. But finally, as he, like let's say it is Satan himself as the serpent, and he becomes physical form. Well, now that's different. Now the mind can maybe pay attention to that more.
Yeah.
That's how I would look at it. It's just, well, I can hear something, but after a while it becomes nothing at that point. But once something changes, then I notice it.
Okay.
I think it's so the knowledge of good and evil, right? I think part of it is definitely that they acknowledged that what they did was wrong, right? And because they
Acknowledged with knowledge.
Yeah. So
They knew.
because they ate of the fruit, right? They gained the knowledge that what they did was evil. And then that invited any other lies, right? Because I mean, it's the idea that, now.
Well, hold on. Back to your definition of what is evil.
Sure.
It's not God. It was not God's plan for them to eat of that tree.
Yeah.
Because he said, don't eat of this tree.
Right.
Okay, go on.
So, but I said that it's knowledge of the spiritual, right? Because there's a constant war going on between good and evil. And so everything, whether or not we see it this way or whatever, everything is tied to that. So, and again, I'm obviously speculating, but it's the idea that they just made a morally wrong decision, and they are reaping the consequences of that. And the consequences of it are the knowledge of getting, or of basically having to experience the rest of these spiritual battles going on around them.
Oh, okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Sort of. So going back to your definition again, a morally wrong decision is one that is taken in absence of God, whether it's what God would have said to do or not. And proof of that is what Paul says. If you know what you've done is wrong and you do it, for you,
It is sin.
it is sin.
Yeah.
Which means practically you could do X and be totally fine.
Yeah.
Because for you, that's not a sin.
Yeah. But someone else.
Because you didn't know
Yeah.
that it was a sin. But because I knew X was a sin
Mm-hmm.
and I did it anyways, it is a sin.
Mm-hmm.
So it's directly related to knowing whether something is God's plan or not.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as they ate from the tree, when God said, don't eat from this tree, they chose to do something that God said not.
Another way of looking at it,
To
they
do.
became a part of the war.
Say again.
They became a part of the war.
Explain.
So the spiritual battle that's going on between good and evil, we chose to basically become a part of that. If we hadn't, we wouldn't know that there was a war going on. And what do people do when they don't know when a war is going on? They just live their lives.
Blissful ignorance?
Blissful ignorance.
With a God who can protect you from everything because he created it all.
Yeah. And you're
So it's
you're
inconsequential blissful ignorance.
You're really just choosing him because there's nothing else. And there's nothing else of worth.
Yeah. Which means you can literally choose everything and it's all good. You could choose to be walking around that whole garden
Well,
butt ass naked, and it's totally fine.
well, and if you think about it, like
But
lot of
as
the
soon as you
sins-
choose what is wrong,
yeah,
what the only thing that God told you not to do,
mm-hmm.
now whatever you think is wrong is.
And if you think about it, a lot of the opportunities of sin have to really just do with the things that man has created. Let me say that again.
Yeah.
The things that man has created, the things that man has developed pride in, right? So
Explain, please.
Like destruction.
So think about the first murder, right? Cain and Abel. What both of them worked to do the thing that God wanted, to provide a sacrifice. And one of them showed immense pride and thought that they were worthy. The other one just did what he did. I mean, there's not necessarily any intent provided, but he did what he did, and there wasn't any information about any pride, any puffed up nature or ego going on in the case of Abel. But Cain,
let's lay out the situation.
Okay.
What did Cain bring?
Cain brought plants.
What did Abel bring?
An animal.
No. So Cain brought plants, right?
Mhm.
He brought the fruits of his labor.
Mm-hmm.
Then Abel brought the first of the fruits of his labor.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The first, not only the first, the best
Yeah.
of the fruits of his labor.
Yeah. So
that
Cain,
goes
in a way,
into pride.
he's showing. Well, Cain took pride in the first fruits of his labor, and so he kept them for himself, which is obviously
Is
self-respect.
a misappropriation of who he is.
Yeah.
And how he came about that blessing.
Yeah. So yeah, it's this.
It's a misrecognition of who you are in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Like, you are not the one who created this wonderful grain, this wonderful harvest that you were blessed to have.
Yeah.
You are not the one who watered the plants. You are not the ones that created the plants in the first place. You are not the ones who created the dirt that these plants thrive in. You weren't the one who created the structure of the plant, the cells of the plant, the way that it sucks water out of the soil, the way that it turns sunlight into sugar and turns sugar into like activity and into work and into like growth and into like blessings for the rest of animals and mankind.
Yeah.
It's not you.
You're not David. My mic's still doing that. You're not David.
It's not you, dude.
Yeah.
It's not you.
Yeah.
It's God who created all that. It's God who deserves the recognition. It's God who gave all of this to you on loan. If he wanted the first, he would have the first.
Yeah.
And yet he lets you decide to bring the first or not. Why?
Yeah, and then that's where obviously choice comes in. Because
Does God even need it?
Right. No, he doesn't.
Then why? Why does God want the first?
And that brings up an interesting point about the fact that
because God is first.
People have said that. All right, buddy. That's
God is first.
Yeah.
In the beginning was the word. Answer.
Answer?
That's the answer.
That's the answer. In the
beginning, God
was the word.
Yeah, was the
God.
word. The word was God.
Yeah.
In the beginning, God. The end.
Yeah. That's why he wants the first fruits.
It's not he wants it. He is.
He is the first fruits.
It's not that he deserves
That's
it.
wild.
It just is.
Yeah.
There's no other way to explain it.
Yeah.
And to try to go any other direction is
that's
straight
crazy.
up wrong.
Yeah. I'm gonna get this chocolate. I need this. That's wild. So there's this idea that God, if God wasn't a benevolent, awesome, powerful God, but an evil deity that wanted to see us suffer, it is seen that the tree of the knowledge of good and evil is an opportunity of knowledge, right? And so God, if he is evil, doesn't want us to have knowledge. Thus, because he wants us to just not move forward, he
wants to take advantage of us.
Yeah, he wants to take advantage of us, and also he doesn't want us to know what we're capable of.
Oh,
and how great we are,
and we could be,
yada yada yada. We could be if we have that knowledge, then we can do this. And I think that's a direct. I think That is literally the thing that was spouted into the mind of man the instant that they ate that fruit.
Yeah.
because obviously
No.
the first sin is of pride.
Did the tree have power? I don't think so. I think we just answered that. Wow, that was a lot of M&Ms all at once. No. Keep chewing. So, did the tree have power? No.
We don't know.
No, it did not. Here's why.
Well, do you think, well, this is back on the previous question, but do you think God wants us to look at ourselves in that we are sinful then?
No. Before or now?
Either or.
Well, I mean, he wants us to acknowledge that we're sinful, for sure. Because if we don't acknowledge that we're sinful, then we don't acknowledge that we need him. And if we don't acknowledge that we need him, then we believe that we are
unsalvageable.
Unsalvageable, or we believe that we're God.
Yeah. And therefore
can-
unsalvageable because it's just wrong.
Sure.
It just
Oh, yeah.
is
Okay.
wrong.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that you can do about that,
Mm.
even if you're God.
Yeah.
So here's why the tree didn't have any power. Satan spouted his idea that, God just wants to obstruct the truth. He wants to take advantage of you. He wants to be God. And, that's his thing. That's his shtick, Like, he doesn't want you to be God.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, he's jealous,
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wants you to be his creation. And that's it. Like, stay in your lane, right?
Right.
And as soon as they ate of the tree, that idea,
And this idea goes against the first commandment.
that idea went from an idea to a belief.
Yeah.
The act of eating from the tree is saying, God, I don't believe what you said.
Mm-hmm.
I believe what the serpent said, that this tree will give me knowledge, that this tree will make me understand it the way that you do so that I can be like you and be your competitor.
Yeah. So it's you're saying
a
that
transformation of belief.
Because, dude, and Rob said this morning. He brought up the fact that the world, our unbelievers, don't know the truth. They can read the Bible. They can maybe articulate things better than any Christian could. They can, understand the concepts. They can, get it all figured out. They can have all the knowledge. And if it's not transformative, it's useless.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep saying, like, knowledge is useless without application. And that's not to say that you can, well, okay, I'm not gonna say that. But it's to say that they applied their knowledge of whatever the serpent said, and they're like, well, and then they just straight up ignored what God said, and they questioned it.
Yeah.
And
They said, God, we don't believe you.
Yeah.
We believe the snake.
And so I think I agree with you to some degree. I think there could be power in the fruit. It doesn't necessarily matter. But the fact that they took their knowledge and they applied it in the way that they did means that it's watered the seeds of sin, basically.
I got something.
Okay.
I got something for you guys.
Okay.
Did they, after eating the fruit, actually know more than they did before? Or did they just believe they did?
You're talking about basically the placebo effect.
Yeah, sort of.
Not exactly that, but the aspect of it.
Right. Was Satan right? Was the serpent right that they would become like God, knowing the difference between knowledge of evil and knowledge of good?
I
don't think so.
No.
I mean,
of course the serpent was wrong. Of course.
They didn't know. I would say that there's an aspect that they would become like God because of knowing the difference between good and evil.
I disagree. Ready?
Okay.
Can I get my sure
thing first? I know I'm cutting you off, but
no. Okay.
I think it's the perceived of like we were saying, thinking that it's me in a way, like I'm just as good, even though probably in the back of their minds they knew they would never be even close to being equal. But it's just the thought that it's kind of like in the aspect of like car salesman. You sell the dream, not the product.
Yep. No, I see what you mean. I'm on the same page. Do you want to continue or do you want to lay it out.
Go ahead.
All right.
I'll let you do it.
Crazy. All right. So they didn't actually know anything more or less than what they had before. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil did not just download a library into their brains. It did not. And here's the evidence. God said that they could walk around this garden naked. And that was good.
Yeah.
Indirectly.
Yeah.
That was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, they ate of this tree because they believed what the serpent said over what God said.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're believing being naked is bad when God indirectly said, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Which to us is a super weird concept, side note. But it's totally okay. Otherwise, God would have clothed them.
He did.
He did.
Yeah. Oh, you mean initially? Yeah.
Initially, he would have clothed them.
Yeah.
Right? But he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Said enjoy each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I don't know how it would have turned out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Probably have to wear clothes to, you know, harvest stuff and walk around and stuff, right? Clothes are a utility. But they put clothes on because of shame, because of what they believed, because they believed they knew. But what they knew was wrong. But it wasn't that they were wrong. It was the fact that they believed what they believed was true, thereby cutting themselves off from God, the ultimate source of truth, the one who created truth.
What do you do with the phrase, and their eyes were open?
It's a good question. Can you read it for me?
Don't remember that.
Copyright.
It wasn't that long. It just says it in verse 7, chapter 3. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and then they sewed the fig leaves together. I think.
Good question.
Where was it initially? And God says it in chapter 2, verse 17, telling them that they can eat of any tree, but from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat from it you will surely die. Oh, no, there's something else.
Do you want me to read it from my Bible?
Sure.
And this is from Genesis 1, chapter 3, verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, thank you, sorry, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat, and the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked. I think it's kind of referring onto kind of an aspect of their minds were opened to the thought of being naked, and that it could be bad. Which you were saying that it's not necessarily something that they didn't know. And I don't think that either. It's just like they knew it and they've seen it.
So hold on before you get to your point. Let him finish. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say Jesus came to testify about the truth, right? I mean, he took all the lies around him and flipped them all on his head, on their head. Everything that people believed, and he'd said, no, this is not the way it's supposed to be. Here's the way it's supposed to be, right? So if we look at it kind of from that perspective, and he is the perfect Adam, right? If we look at it from that perspective, the truth is that what you said, that, you know, you can be in the garden and be naked and whatever, but the lie, it's not as though they didn't know that they were naked, right? But it's that they saw that they were naked with their eyes newly opened, right? And then they were ashamed.
That's a figure of speech, though. Their eyes were open,
right?
Literally, and also Adam and Eve knew they were naked because they had sex.
Yes,
a lot.
Well, we don't know that up to this point, but we can assume.
Unless it happened in like 5 minutes.
Who knows?
I bet you they had sex.
Maybe.
Like a lot.
Probably.
I mean, they were probably the hottest two people that have ever existed.
We don't need to talk about that.
Why?
But, well.
Was it weird, like, talking about your parents having sex?
No.
Then why is
Well,
it weird?
They were the first two people to be created by God in His image. So
Yeah. Well, and
why not
and
say that they were like the perfect
The
looking people?
epitome of beauty. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say?
Thanks for backing me up.
No, it's sorry. It was the
Backing you up.
presence. It was the presence of a specific word. They were probably the hottest people.
They probably were.
That's
We use in English language, and in this day and age, the word hot to describe someone as sexually attractive.
Yeah.
God created sex. God created Adam and Eve.
So He made
They
them
were the
hottest can
epitome
be.
of hotness, and they could not resist
Okay.
each other.
Sure.
And they were ready.
Okay.
And by ready, I mean no clothes.
But it just furthers the question: how were their eyes opened then? I mean, because I agree with you. I absolutely believe that they knew that they were naked, but
Mhm.
they did not sin. And sorry.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, because I mean, it says at the end of chapter 2, verse 25, and the man and his wife were both naked and were not ashamed. So that implies knowledge.
Mhm.
I still think,
Or lack of knowledge.
I still think it's to the opening of the mind to the possibility.
Ooh, yes. Can I dig further?
Sure.
Let me dig further, Michael, before you move
Okay.
on. If what's true before is now in question, how do you know what is true and false anymore? If you once believed that the serpent is right, what is right and wrong anymore?
So the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil invited or strengthened maybe doubt.
Doubt. Yes.
Which
invited
provides
doubt, and
Yeah.
they believed the doubt,
Mm,
which invites the question of what is true, what is false, what is good, what is evil. We don't know anymore.
and I can make my own.
Yeah.
Basically.
Which is why if I decide to be ashamed that I'm naked,
Yeah.
now I am ashamed that I am naked. And it is wrong for me to be naked.
Who told you?
Who told you? Do you think God was referring to the serpent? Or was God referring to... Because, like, the serpent's an angel.
Mhm.
Since when did God really, like, care about the angels? Like, obviously, God cares about his creation. I've argued that even with his creatures, his animals. But it's not like God created the angels in his image. They're not his children. He never refers to them as his children, ever. He refers to us as his children, never the angels. So who do you think God was actually saying? What he was referring to is like, who told you? Like, it's not, I don't think it, maybe, I'm not totally sure, but I don't think it definitely was the serpent. It could have been him saying, how come you decided you being naked was wrong? Who told you that?
Wait, I think this is an interesting point of detail.
Okay.
Chapter 3, verse 22.
Okay.
Then the Lord God said, behold, the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil, and now he might stretch out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever.
Mhm.
Which I think might speak against your point about the
Are you sure?
fruit not having power.
Are you sure?
Possibly.
Do you remember the passage in Psalms where God makes fun of the, I think it was kings? You know what I'm talking about? An anchor?
I don't, honestly.
Okay. Well, he makes fun of the kings and says, we are gods, you know? And he's not saying that these kings are actually gods. He's like saying these people think they're gods. Like, what?
Yeah.
You freaking kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
These people think they're gods.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious. Who do they think they are?
Yeah.
Like, they barely know how to like tie their shoes.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what shoes are. So could it be that God is being sarcastic here?
I think it's the idea that the man has become like one of us in that they think that they are God. Right?
Yes.
So whether or not he is declaring that they know now good and evil.
Whether that's right or wrong is not the case.
Yeah, and that's not the thing being said here, but it is the fact that they now think that they are like us.
Mm-hmm.
They're like God,
Mm-hmm.
and they know good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
And no should be like quoted. They know good and evil.
Right. Well, and again, it's
and also
that's
like,
why I think it's this idea that they've entered into this seeing the spiritual realm for what's going on the
Yeah.
earth, which is a battle between light and dark.
Yeah.
And
Also, how does the Bible describe, or in other contexts, how does the Bible use the word know?
that's a good question. How does it?
Adam knew his wife.
Okay, that's
Like,
so I thought you were gonna go with that,
Yep.
but
can you explain?
I'm confused by what you mean by that.
Right.
What do you mean by how it says no? Like, as knowledge as no, or just like, no, this is bad?
Here's what I mean. When a man knows his wife, biblically, that means that they've had sex,
Mm-hmm.
right? That means intercourse. That
Mhm.
means knowing them to the deepest physical, emotional, spiritual level,
Mm.
right? And knowing the difference between good and evil in the same way would be that they've now experienced evil as
Hmm.
well as good.
Interesting.
They've had intercourse with evil and good.
Hmm.
Why is adultery bad? Because you've had intercourse with your wife and another.
Yeah.
I think it spells it out as like, this is evil or this is wrong. Because it does, and like, be totally wrong, as for everything that I say.
Same.
For like, this is wrong. Adultery is wrong in the aspect of committing sin towards your wife. Sin is also the same thing as saying, no, this is wrong.
Can you give me more context?
Um,
So sin is the
Even-
same as
so
Okay.
sin is the aspect that God says that we should not do.
and we do.
We do, absolutely.
Okay.
But is it still good in his eyes? No, absolutely not.
Okay.
And that's where him, like, I don't know if you remember this basically, but at like a Bible group, we went over like the list of wrongs and rights,
hmm
and they were basically laid out clearly in a certain way. Not necessarily everything was in detail, just like this, and they're all connected into like one part. But like gluttony, lust, greed is basically on the list of this is not right. As God, I do not approve of this. Like, you should not do this.
Mhm.
But if you do, you should repent.
Yeah.
You should absolutely repent.
Which means
Ask
to-
for forgiveness.
to turn away from your sin and to once again believe what God said is true.
Yes.
To believe that God is God, that He declares what is true and what is good.
So interlinear says for the word knowing
Mhm.
used here is the way that we would understand it, which is to know, to perceive, to understand, to acknowledge. I'm interested
How the other
how the other
new is like, is that a different word?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you're looking that up. So, Stephen, I imagine you had a point there, and I'm forgetting what it was. Could you help me out?
Basically, in the aspect of like, I know Jesus. I hate to say it. I could be wrong. every time.
Go for it. Go for it.
Like Jesus says multiple times in the aspect, God is all knowing.
Yeah.
The Father is all knowing.
Mhm.
He knows all.
Mhm.
He walks beside you. He endures the same thing, same trials that you endure. He feels your pain. He feels your sorrow. He does not want this for you, but he knows that this is what you must endure to be a better you.
Same word.
Same word. Really?
Okay. Interesting.
Okay. Go on.
So that just kind of
Seals the
your
deal.
point
Okay.
a little bit more, yeah.
Okay. Go on, Stephen.
I don't know if I have much more than that. That's just how it's explained to me. Just like from my old friend Chuck. We were talking after like a Wednesday young adult group, and this was from like middle school, and he was like teaching the class for confirmation, and I was like asking him, what in God's knowledge does he know what I've been through? And he basically explained it as he just knows. That's it.
Hmm.
Everything. every little pain that you experience in life, even from now and into the future, already understands, basically.
Mm.
Understands it, has felt it, everything.
And I guess that's, in theory, true, because God created everything and he understands how everything interacts at its most base.
Yeah.
Going back to the new, you confirmed that those two
same.
words are the same.
Yeah.
So Adam knew his wife, meaning he perceived her, acknowledged her, understood her, and vice versa. Right. I forget my point. What did I say?
You were making the point that we basically had relations with evil.
Oh yeah.
So that was the knowledge. So
we knew both.
But I actually think that it's interesting. If that is the case, would it not be the knowledge of evil? Why the knowledge of good and evil?
Because we had good before.
But why is it offering good and not just evil?
Because if it's just good, then there's no distinction.
But if we already have good, then the presence of evil in this fruit would just say
the knowledge of evil
in our own mind that, oh, these two things are different.
Yeah, the knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah.
Before, there was no such thing as good. It just was.
But that's not true.
Well, God said everything was good. That's what we're referring
right.
to.
But we still have the fallen angels. So we have evil in the world.
But we didn't know.
But we didn't know.
Like your point.
Right. But the knowledge of good and evil. It's not just knowledge of the difference between good and evil, but the knowledge that there is good and that there is evil.
I think knowledge goes deeper here, though. Knowledge here is more like experience.
Well,
to knowledge, to perceive, to whatever.
To recognize, yeah.
So you don't think that it's information, you think it's just acknowledging. Right.
It's experience.
But that goes more to my point of that they've entered the battle, right? The spiritual battle.
Yeah.
But
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah. I'm just trying to like
process.
Well, Daniel, what would be the difference in knowledge and experience then in this aspect?
None.
But wouldn't experience take time with knowledge?
It did, yeah. So the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Before there was just life. There was just existence. There was walking in the garden, talking with God, eating of the fruits of the garden, enjoying the presence of God and like everything that He created. Like He created the entire world, He created the entire universe, and then He lovingly created the garden for Adam and Eve. Out of like pure love. Like everything else was good, but God created especially the garden to be like primo, like like creme de creme, right? Like top dollar stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that
where is experience then? I'm not understanding.
No, I'm going full circle here for everybody.
Sorry.
So no, you're good. So they just knew life. They knew beauty. They knew love. They knew intimacy. They knew just joy and ecstasy. They knew, like I said, the creme of the creme, right? The best of the best. And there wasn't even like, how do you have a concept of best if there's only best? That's the idea, right? So if everything is perfect, how do you know to rate something 1 star?
Right.
Everything is just as it is.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they believe Satan and they eat of the tree, their beliefs change. And all of a sudden, it's either the serpent is God and declares what is good, what is wrong, what is right, what is true, what is false, right? Or they believe for themselves, hey, like the serpent had an interesting idea here, but I'm going to believe that, like we're naked and we should be ashamed of that. Either way, they believed something that was not true according to the only source of truth, God. And because of that, they declared something other, doesn't matter who, something other than God to be a source of truth. And when there's more than one source of truth, there's confusion and darkness. And there's, and especially for what is a real situation,
Mm-hmm.
like think to our lives, like an emergency, we need to have training. We need to have an understanding of what is going to keep us alive, what is going to kill us. And we need that training because our instincts usually are going to kill us, right? And that means that just because you feel like you're naked and you should be ashamed of that doesn't mean that's right. Doesn't mean that's true. So we should not be basing that idea on what we feel, on our heart, which is deceitful, right? And
Are you
as
talking about
soon
like
as
the present?
no, well, sort of. I'm relating to the present now, like our own experience, so that we can all understand it. But what I'm saying, as soon as they believed that, as soon as they believed something was true that was not true, everything came under question, whether it was true or not. Even if it was originally true and they knew it was true, now everything is confusing. And there's a thing called, gosh, I forget the name, but it's basically when you're, there it is, cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
It's basically when you say something and then you do something else, and it just does not align, and it just makes you feel horrible, and you want to align with what you say. And it's just natural, like you want to align with what you say. And you do everything that you possibly can to make those two things align. So if you do something wrong, then you change what you say. And if you say something is wrong, you try to align with what you say. And since we end up doing what we don't want to do, because we said we don't want to do that, we end up changing what we say, right? So the moral law is shifting in our terms, right? And to your point, to your question rather, Stephen, as soon as you discover that confusion of what is right and wrong, now there's that question that never existed before of, is this good or bad? When before, all you ever knew was good.
Well, that would also be where experience would come in, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the only thing that you ever experienced was bueno, you know? And then as soon as you experience anything else that's not bueno, now there's bueno and no bueno, right? Before that, nope.
And also Spanish.
There was no
apparently.
category.
But
Yeah.
It's
felt like
still
switching it up.
the difference between knowing and experience is still time.
Yeah. I mean, before they sinned, there was time to experience what is good, which had no category. And then as soon as they sinned and they knew both, that sin took time to happen, right? And so they experienced eating the fruit and believing what was a lie was actually true. And now they've had time to experience both good before and evil now. And what is evil again, Michael?
Not God.
Not God. And in this situation, what God said was a lie. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, basically the thing I'm just going after is, like, you can think, like you were saying, everything is good right now and right in this present second.
Yeah.
But once, like, something bad happens, something like in like a day, something bad happens, a week, something bad happens, a year, a month, a year, something bad happens. Like, that's experience of, like, okay, what can I take from all this? And now I know what the good is from the bad, and that's what experience basically is. Is it's just built up time within
Understanding what is good and bad based on your experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that drives back to the core of being the one who defines what is good and bad, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Which goes back to them, quote unquote, realizing that they were naked and that they should be ashamed.
Knowing.
Yeah. And knowing it, which was arrogance. Because it was totally fine with God. Who are they to say being naked is bad?
Isn't it interesting though that like, let's even not take the story from the Bible. Even a story from your own life, like, you can get one aspect and then another aspect, but the second aspect is more dramatic, and you could take that more as truth just because it's recently happened, but it's more in your mind and it's more exciting maybe.
Yeah, because it's different.
Yeah.
That's a
Like
good
it-
point.
And then you cling on to that as like truth. But
Mhm.
the first storytelling was actually the truth.
Yeah.
And this one could be absolutely false.
Yeah.
The second story itself.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, there's a fascination that we have with something that's just novel and like goes against the grain. Michael, I see you've been taking notes over there.
No, yeah. I think the piece of this that we're actually missing
Oh,
has to do with choice,
here we go.
which is what you were going to bring up earlier.
Yes.
But instead of continuing this conversation, I think we should talk about that.
Next
That's
time?
a whole
new
thing.
enchilada. Yeah.
I think
It's a very delicious enchilada.
it's an intense enchilada.
It's got a
a
lot of
big one.
sauce.
It's a
Yeah.
big one.
I'm going to
Might
say
be deep
that
fried, too.
maybe we
You take this
we could,
Twinkie and you supersize it.
A Twinkie enchilada.
if anyone knows the reference of the movie Ghostbusters, if you take this Twinkie and you make it like the size of like it'd be two blocks wide.
I haven't watched
yes.
Ghostbusters. I have
That's
to.
wild.
I
Yeah,
have to.
you do.
It's like a
Um,
cultural revelation.
I'm going to say that we should probably do research on this.
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
Yeah.
We
It's
don't
not like we were the first ones to have these thoughts.
we don't always have we don't always do research when we do.
I think the point of this podcast is to point out the fact that we aren't the smartest people in the world.
Yeah.
Obviously,
We don't know a whole lot,
we don't. We pretend like we do, just like Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
And
but we reckon with things like all humans do,
Mhm.
and we try to do it the best of our ability.
Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, yeah. I got you. Yeah. So, the point of this is to prove to you guys, the listeners, that you can do this too.
Yeah.
We are purposely. Okay. I called Mickael earlier this week and I said, hey, maybe we should research these things deeper before we have a podcast. And he said, no, that's not the point.
No.
The point is to say, hey, listener, you can reason through these things too.
Mm-hmm.
You can. It might take you an hour and a half. It might take you two. It might take a friend or two to come to a good understanding of what the Bible says.
Yeah.
But you can. It's not inaccessible. You don't have to research it. You don't have to be a genius
Yeah.
to get to the truth if you have the Word of God in front of you.
Well, and like I keep thinking about the definition of determine, and I kind of use that as like I guess the authority on the words that we use to, I guess, figure out what everything is. We determine it. We try to determine it, and I think that's all. That also comes from like determinism.
Mm-hmm.
So I, maybe there's better words, but the kind of my own articulation of the definition is to completely terminate. And I mean, that's ultimately what we want to do is we want to completely terminate. And, again, a lot of what we're saying is speculation. In fact, most of it is probably speculation. I mean, or it's a personal belief and we truly believe whatever it is, but we're not trying to force this on anybody necessarily. We're just saying
ideas.
this is our perspective. This is how we're kind of viewing things. This is how we're trying to tackle it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to completely terminate. But we're trying to completely terminate properly. Because like we said, we can't know all of creation fully because we'd have to apply all of creation to all of creation.
Yeah.
And so, this is our attempt at applying some of creation to some of creation and hoping that
Hopefully we get close.
yeah, but also acknowledging the Bible as what it is, which is the truth.
The truth. And the fact that it doesn't give us the entire thing.
Yeah.
So there's areas where we're never going to know.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's clear that the Bible omits certain information that isn't completely necessary, right? Like any writer that we know can't possibly get down to the very deepest molecular structure of every single thing that they're going to describe just to get one point across. It's like, no, and it's like God doesn't need to do that because his point that he's trying to make, he is getting across. He's doing things intentionally. The book is written intentionally in a way that, yes, our human minds can't fully wrap our heads around because there are concepts that we may not ever understand until glory, but like, you know, the concepts that we are supposed to understand, he's like, hey, this is it. This is where it's at. I'm going to rehash this a lot throughout this book so that you get, you know, what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But
all right, guys, focus.
Yeah. Let me say this 20,000 more times.
Yeah.
You're going to get it. I know that there's an end to this book, but guess what? You have to read it again.
Because guess what? You forgot.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope that that's how this comes across. And I mean, we're very passionate about it because we care. And also we just enjoy talking this way. I think we should attempt to
move on.
Let's
do it. We can talk about freedom of choice next time.
Yeah.
We can talk about why that first question.
Yeah.
Or one of the first questions that I said, hey, we should probably, that's a big enchilada. Let's move on.
Yeah.
That question was, why did the garden contain the tree in the first place? And so we'll cover that next week.
Okay. I like that. Let's do that in the Cade portion then.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because I wrote the conversational choice in the perfumed section.
Okay.
But now, our conversation very naturally flows into this topic, but the concept of death and how there is a practicality to, or how there could be, I should say, a practicality to the curses that were put on man and woman, and technically the snake.
All of creation.
Yeah. And how those things point or basically create the circumstances for death, I guess.
Ooh, that did naturally roll into it. Wow.
Yeah.
That was buttery smooth.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So initial thoughts.
Ooh. Do you have any initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts onto death.
Yeah, how does the curse that God, maybe we should start there. Read that, the curse.
Yeah.
And then how does that functionally, scientifically, outcome in death?
Yeah, it's chapter 3, obviously.
I love how decay can be anything and we just choose for it to be more Bible.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Well, and it's, yeah, you're right. Okay, so chapter 3, what is this you've done? Lord God said to the serpent. Okay, these are the curses. The Lord God said to the serpent, because you have done this, cursed are you more than all cattle, and more than every beast of the field. On your belly you will go, and dust you will eat all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise you on the head, and you shall bruise him on the heel. Verse 16, to the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your pain in childbirth. In pain you will bring forth children. Yet your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you. Then to Adam he said, because you have listened to the voice of your wife, and have eaten from the tree about which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat from it, cursed is the ground because of you. In toil you will eat of it all the days of your life. Both thorns and thistles it shall grow for you, and you shall eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your face you will eat bread, till you return to the ground, because from it you were taken, for you are dust, and to dust you shall return.
So the dreaded weeds that we all hate that grow in the yard.
Yeah.
And all because of us.
Yeah. And I want to further add that another part of this curse, I think, is that he banned us from the Garden of Eden. And in doing so, he also distanced us from living forever.
Yeah.
Because of the tree of life.
So the tree of life had power to breathe life back into man.
Breathe life back or just extend it. Because it just says that he will live forever.
Lest he live forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So God acknowledging, like, if they eat of this tree, they'll live forever. So there has to be something there. So let's just assume that there is. I took a few notes. Women will have pain, excessive pain in childbirth. Before modern medicine, a lot of women would die in childbirth.
Yeah.
So there's a direct connection between that curse and millions, tens of millions of women, if not more,
Yeah.
Especially just like
dying.
blood transfusions would save tons of lives.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's only in the past like 100-ish
Yeah.
years
Right.
out of, let's assume, again, 6,000 years. And I think my brother's done this calculation before of how many human people have, like, of course, humans have lived in the course of history. And there's a lot of disagreement about this.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember correctly, since we're at 7 billion right now, right? My brother and a lot of sources that he looked into, which our pastor actually disagreed with. So there you go. A lot of disagreement about this. He concluded that it was somewhere around 100 billion people in history. So the fact that 7% of humankind exists today is kind of crazy, just by itself. But that means 93 billion people. Again, we're assuming a lot of stuff here. 93 billion people, usually about 50% are female, 50% are male. That means 45, let me do the math, 41.5 billion women have lived and died. Out of them, how many have died from childbirth? I could look it up. I'm not going to. Let's say it's 10%. It's definitely higher than that. Because we're not talking about the people that are alive today with modern miracle medicine.
Yeah.
Could not tell you why.
Yeah.
I've seen it like
That's
67 billion
Yeah.
at least, and closer to 100 billion seems more accurate. I don't know why.
Of people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever
Yeah.
lived?
I agree. Yeah, it's more like 100 billion, I'd say. So that means 93 billion divided by 2, which is 41.5 billion. 10% of that, 4.15 billion women have
You said 93?
Yeah.
It would.
Am I wrong?
It would be like 46.
Sorry. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
It's even more. 46 point something.
Yeah.
0.5. That means 4.65 billion women in history have died from childbirth. There's a direct connection from the curse of more painful childbirth and death directly. That accounts for at least 4% of all mankind died because of that curse, I'll say.
Well, and it's interesting. The question goes further because what causes the pain in childbirth, right?
So many things.
I believe it's I want to say the pelvis splitting.
Oh yeah, that's one thing.
Just because
So it's
I know
the
in
destruction of the body.
physiology, female hips and hip bones are wider than males.
Yeah.
And I know they have to split even further to allow the child's head, and even the child has, like, our skulls aren't even fully formed. They have a split vertically in the middle to even allow the separation and molding for childbirth. Like, there's a lot of factors that allow for this, which is crazy. But it just goes to show that women do hold in their own physiology is vastly impressive in its own right. And even I forget, the pain is extruded from the brain itself. I remember reading it's blocked by a chemical, so it's not remembered.
Insane.
Wow. I was gonna say, so there's the direct, like, causes of death in childbearing, and then I also want to say that there's some indirect, right? So generations are a very popular topic in the Bible, in that, the bloodlines are important, and especially Jews, they have a deep what's the word? They keep track of things.
Historical records.
Yeah, there you go. Someone has a brain today.
Even though I can't speak.
Right. But in pain of childbearing, it almost makes women not want to have children. And I can't believe for a second that it is only this generation in which that has become more popular. I'm sure that women for years have thought that and tried to avoid it as much as possible.
Basically toiled with the thought of it.
Yeah. And there's death of bloodlines there. There's death of
Well, would it be a death of a bloodline though if the child survives?
no, I'm saying that them not having children, them
Oh,
choosing not to
okay.
have
Okay, my
children.
bad. My bad.
And that's one indirect effect. What was the other one? I mean, death of like entire groups of people. I mean, if you can cause the women of certain ethnic groups or whatever to stop bearing children, then you've just killed off whatever.
Even the stress upon the body itself.
Right. And I think just stress alone, the fact that we strive to accomplish whatever goal and the stress that it puts on our bodies, on our minds, on our relationships, whatever, that's sacrifice, right? But I feel like a lot of that sacrifice was created with these curses, right? And so that's where pride can come in, right? Because if I'm realistically, I'm sitting there making phone cases, right? And it just doesn't feel the same when I've moved 100+ water heaters into a warehouse and then, put away a ton of other stuff and moved pipe and whatever. Like there's something gritty about that, about those things and intense. And I've sacrificed more of myself to do that. And so it creates this sense of pride because I did that. I can look at this mountain of whatever and I'm just like, same thing with running, exercising, any type of exercise, any type of manual labor, if we're tilling the ground, if we're farming, if we're just creating a garden. Like my grandpa
Growing at
loves...
the flower.
Huh?
Growing at the flower.
Yeah. Like my grandpa loves working on his garden. And there's an inherent thing about it, but there's also that stress. He's an old man. And of course he's going to look at his garden and have pride in it. He's going to be like, that, I did that. But at the same time, he has to sacrifice all that and say, no, it wasn't me. It's God. It's his power. It's whatever. But there's that sense of, there's this pride of, it's me.
Mhm.
And so there's this indirect thing that's happening, right? Same thing with the woman, right? I bore this child. I am bearing this child. I am putting forth this pain. And so, we can look at pride and the intensity of it, maybe more so because it could be, well, they say that pride is the original sin anyway. So, but the intensity of it, causes all sorts of death, kingdoms. Cain and Abel is a clear sign. That's pride, and all sorts of different things that stem from that. With the intensity of stress, with the God adding to our struggle and our toil here on earth.
And I'll just add this thought in there. I think as like being guys from women, us like toiling for like work, like manual labor and stuff, that's our punishment. That is our burden to bear. And I think as like the provider for the family, and that is also our burden to bear. But like childbirth is for women to bear, that's their main burden. And I think it's an interesting question. I've been proposed this. What would you rather have, like long-term pain or a very short pain? Versus wise, like, would you rather have a male's pain or a female's pain?
It's a toss-up, dude.
Like really intense
Hey,
pain
man.
for 12 hours.
I've heard that men who pass kidney stones,
It's
worse.
brutal, but it's
Well,
It's not the same.
it's
not
not
the same at all.
I mean, every experience is unique.
Yeah.
Even among women.
Yeah.
Some women have a pretty easy time in childbirth, and others not so much.
Yeah.
that's where it leads up to death, basically.
It could, yeah. Yeah.
Well,
And I just want to amend my numbers.
Sure.
I was pretty spot on, but I want to.
okay.
I wanted to
Let me
say.
just spam it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say. So I looked it up because it's a short notice. I basically said what was the rate of death among women in childbirth in the 1500s, and it said that for a woman having a child in that day and age, it was pretty high. The chance of death was 1 to 2.5% per birth, and so that would translate into about 10% total. If you include every birth for each woman. It's not like a woman only gives birth once.
Yeah.
Right. That's the idea. So about 10%. So I was kind of spot on there on accident. I thought it was going to be higher, honestly. So yeah, wanted to point that out. But also the thing that I noted with man's curse was that, yes, like now it's going to include like, it's going to be so much harder. And even though we till the ground perfectly, it's gonna get spoiled by weeds.
Yeah.
Every single time. But also at the end of the day, I think what God is saying is at the end of the day, your work is going to be nothing. Everything you do to make your family live and go on and like be able to eat every single day, and like maybe you get beyond that and you build wealth and you build generational wealth. Like at the end of the day, every single one of you're going to end up in the ground. You're going to turn into dust. All the work that you ever did is going to crumble and be grown over by plants that are just doing what they were originally programmed to do. It's not like, I mean, maybe God is interacting with them still, but everything, including the generations that inherit your wealth, they're all going to die. All the work that they are going to do is going to end up in dust. Everything at the end of the day is pointless now. Congrats, Adam.
Yeah. That's
You've done
interesting.
good.
So you're almost saying it's not even just the death of humankind, but it's also the death of really fulfillment. Because you're going to work, but it's not really gonna, it doesn't matter.
Survival now.
Yeah. Rather than, that brings up an interesting topic.
Yeah.
Well, we could talk about that at a different time. But
Because they have to eat.
Yeah.
Like before, God said, eat of the trees of the garden.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's gravy. It's so good.
It's great.
Yeah. Now God is saying, you're going to toil, you're going to sweat. It's going to be pointless, but you have to do it to eat. That's different. Before, food was free. Now it's not.
Yeah.
And on top of all that, you're surviving. And at the end of the day, even if you thrive, it's pointless.
And we still have the charge, the initial charge, to have dominion over the earth.
So we still have that drive, that desire, but it's just not going to happen anymore.
Yeah. At least not
in the capacity that we should.
Yeah, but we also have to have that to survive too.
Yeah.
At this point.
We have to. That's the point. So it's not really a story, more of an experience of mine. When I was in business on my own, which is not a fun thing to do. Entrepreneurship is horrible if you're not born for it. Right? Don't do it. Get a job. Anyways. That's not the. I guess we're in the K portion. Yeah. All right, I'll give my advice. Do the thing that you want to do. Here, let me switch to my view.
Oh,
way to cotton pick in second. Hold on. What is going on over here? I'm so confused. Back to. There we go. Okay.
Heyo.
All right. Whatever your idea is. There we go. Do it. I'm not saying don't try to build your business. Try to build your business. Do it. It's great. I love it. I love that passion behind trying to build something new. Kind of like what we're doing with this podcast here. But don't quit your day job.
Yeah.
Don't quit going to college. Don't sideline everything else.
Yeah.
Because it's most likely not going to work out. Anyways, off my soapbox.
Yeah.
Just like the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
There you go.
Yeah.
Where was I going? Dang it, dude.
That was you.
Yeah.
you went on your own tangent and lost your own mind.
All right.
And I think it goes also to, so me and Daniel, basically, he got me into this, is just, we started up, and I love aquarium fish, and he had his own business, and he was all about entrepreneurship, and I was so unsure. I was just like, I don't know if you remember this. I was so hesitant. I was just like, this probably won't work. I tell you that.
See, that's the attitude you should have.
But
Yeah, that's honestly the right attitude.
Um,
It's like you're being negative. No, you're still doing it.
Yeah.
But it's probably not going to work. So temper your
Um,
expectations.
and I don't know how to say this, but we tried it and it basically failed
Yeah, it did.
dramatically.
Yeah.
But I
There's a
think we
lot of
kind of
depth
had
involved.
fun with it.
Things got a little fishy.
For sure.
It tanked.
Um,
You're not drowning in money. You're drowning in
and I mean,
sadness.
the idea is still there.
Hmm.
I don't
No,
know.
it's
I
just-
don't know if it was really a concept that we had. I think it was more of an idea.
Mhm.
Of it. We really didn't have much, but it was definitely an idea, and we still have the idea.
But now it's more of like a
dream and a hobby more.
yeah, it's like a hobby. Like we like to do that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was a shared experience and it was a good experience, even though there was a lot of bad involved. And it didn't turn out the way that we expected it, or I guess the way I expected it. Which honestly, I didn't really expect it to be profitable all that much. I thought maybe we would break even, but that was still too grand an expectation.
Yeah.
Just keep swimming.
Yeah, and we had someone else put some money in,
Mhm.
just like try to invest it, and he didn't really have much of a say in it, I guess, as much as we'd hoped.
Mhm.
We kind of thought that he would have gotten on board with it and like try to involve himself at least in like the financial side of it,
Mm-hmm.
and like try to promote it, maybe
Or
go to
strategic.
yeah. But that didn't happen.
To be fair, there was a lot of hurdles, like regulative hurdles and everything. Like you can't just sell fish to a
No.
store. And there's local stores that you can sell to, but they usually don't pay in check or cash. They pay in store credit.
Mm-hmm.
Which is totally fine if you're absolutely
If it's a hobby.
able to do like fish food and like grow profit and like feeding your own fish, which is totally fine.
But that's only
some
a
of the
cyclic
stores
process. There's no
we-
actual inflow of cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the stores, like, they only allowed, like, animal credit. Like, it was a trade for, like, we did dwarf shrimp and they're like cherry shrimp. And we
Trade
sold
one for
them
one.
those, and we only got credit for, like, fish. That was it. Like, you couldn't get fish food, and it was just like,
That's crazy.
why even do this
Yeah.
at this point? It's just like, well, we're just going to keep the shrimp for ourselves then.
Yeah.
And enjoy them
Yeah.
then. We had fun with that, and it was just at that point more of a hobby at that
It
stage.
was for the fun of it.
And
It's for the enjoyment of
yeah.
the work itself.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of Solomon's point too, is like at the end of the day, everything is pointless.
Mm-hmm.
That's like his conclusion in like chapter 2.
I don't think it was necessarily pointless. In fact,
in the initial point, it was pointless.
in the grand scheme, yeah, absolutely.
And at the end of the day, who's going to care?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I absolutely did.
I do. Yeah. It was a good time. And that's the point, is to have fun.
Yeah.
And that's what Solomon says, is like at the end of the day.
It opened me up, honestly. It opened my mind, I guess, to the possibility of like, this could happen.
Yeah.
Like, this absolutely could happen.
It's hard.
And
but it could.
it would allow more, I guess, people in the hobby to have a better quality of stuff, and they would get more enjoyment out of it than we would necessarily get enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
Because I was basically taking care of the fish, and I already knew how to take care of them, and it's just like, okay, well, what do I do then if I know how to take care of it? And every disease, and basically in part to the Bible, every evil I can manage, and it's just like, okay, what enjoyment am I getting out of it then? It's just like, it's the animals. It's like God's creations.
Mhm. And the fact that we were doing it with friends,
Yeah.
like you, me, and Chris.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Mm.
And Chris is another friend that I had in high school. And we had a falling out, and I honestly wish I would have done things differently. I still blame myself for some of it, absolutely. And Chris, if you ever watch this, I'm still terribly sorry for what I said, and
I'm not.
I hope you
You
forgive
should call
me.
him back, dude. What's wrong
Um,
with you?
yeah,
Get over yourself.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to contact you and whatnot, but anyways, moving on from that. No one wants to hear that rant. This pity party and
No pity here.
but yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is that try new things. It's always interesting what you can get out of stuff. I was super hesitant, like I said. Daniel said was like, let's go for it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
That's the entrepreneurial mindset, you know?
And we've basically said to ourselves, like, it'll come back, but not as strong. Like, not as strong. But it'll still come back. And, like, we'll do it more, definitely, as truly a hobby thing.
Yeah.
And just, like
no other expectation besides just
enjoyment.
And possibly not even that. Just like, we just want to do it and see what happens. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not that we're having no expectations. The expectation is that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see what results come of it, you know?
Right.
Anyways, how we get off on that topic? I love it. I love the topic.
The fact that what we do is not going to
matter.
Pay off.
Okay, pay off. It's sort of pointless at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like everything goes back to dust.
Yeah.
How does that directly tie back to death for man?
I mean,
dust
again,
dust.
indirect issue with that is like depression.
Yeah.
Not feeling fulfilled.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, a lot of people are going to feel as though. So if our initial charge by God is to have dominion over the earth, but now things are harder, people, I mean, everybody is just going to feel as though it's just too hard. And that's, I mean, you're looking it up right now. Like what does it say?
Suicide rates of men.
Yeah.
Per year.
39,000 in the United States.
Yeah.
Can I necessarily say this? But I think it's an interesting point. I saw this on YouTube. I know you should never trust YouTube all the time. But it basically said, and I know depression, trust me, bullied in grade school and basically getting talked to down by your parents takes a toll on you. Trust me, I know. But if you want to make friends with anyone or want people to know about your struggles, I want you to answer this question in your own mind. How do you get people to understand if you're not willing to tell anyone?
Osmosis. Obviously.
You should just know how I feel.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, and it's interesting to that point.
I found the yellow M&M out of all these.
Yeah, because there's like ones and then there's real ones underneath.
The blue one.
But
and trust me, I've toiled with this question for years.
Yeah. Well, Daniel highlighted the proportion of the suicide rate in America is 80%. Men account for 80% of all suicide deaths. And to your point about communication, men are the worst communicators. And not that we don't communicate, not that we don't say exactly what we're thinking, we're not direct, and we don't know how to communicate, what we think is important. But it's the fact that we idle to a place of practicality and not emotional depth. That's not like the thing. It's, how can I get from point A to point B 90% of the time? And, I 100% believe that men are 80% of the suicide rate because
that's a fact.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a fact. But what you're saying is how can you how can you expect people to understand or to hear you or whatever if you don't tell them? You don't say anything. And we push things down. That's our thing. We work hard, we do what we need to do, and we just hope that we get what we want or what we feel that we need. And we push everything else down because it's just going to get in the way of what we're trying to accomplish. And that's because we're purpose driven.
And feelings sometimes get in the way of getting the job done.
Yeah. And that's why that's I mean, on the flip side of the whole death thing, I think that's why it's so important for us to have women in our lives, and why most men are not blessed with singleness, blessed with just perpetual singleness. Like they're never going to get married. Like most men desire to have a woman by their side because, one, they're in touch with their emotions, they get you to communicate, and they do the other side of the things. And that's how it's supposed to function.
And just the idea of having a relationship with anybody brings a purpose that does not die.
Yeah.
That does not spoil.
Yeah.
That does not go away, no matter how you view it.
Right.
I guess unless you're an atheist. But still, even then, like, that person lives on in your memory and other people's memories. And that person in a way still exists, right? And so it's not that person is now dust. You still had experiences with that person. That person was real.
Yeah.
That person impacted you. That person changed you. That person gave you joy. That person gave you sadness. That person gave you like the greatest moments of your life. That person, you shared everything with them.
And I'd say that's another source of indirect cause of death is memory. You remember, because of death, we have to remember. We have to suffer with remembering those that have died, or those that are dying, or that have lost their memory, or whatever. Like these are all results of the fall. And we have to deal with that. We have to deal with the men that commit suicide. We have to deal with the women that commit suicide. We have to deal with the children that die.
I would rephrase that though.
What?
It's not dealing with.
Well, I mean, we have to deal with the emotions.
I mean, it is a burden to us if someone takes their life, but they are not a burden, and they should not take their life.
So, actually, to that point, everybody's a burden, and that has become some kind of stigma. I think that's wrong. I think
I know what you mean. And when I say you're not a burden, it means you are no more a burden than anybody else.
Yeah. You are
a loved burden.
Right. You're not an unworthy burden is really what I think it should be. Because at the end of the day, if the God of creation decided, this goes hand in hand with the forgiveness thing. If the God of creation was willing to come to this earth and for one and then die and then rise again for your sins,
for you,
dude, you're a freaking burden. You're filled with trauma. You have purpose that you are trying to figure out. You have all these things that you're trying to figure out. You want a relationship. You want blah, blah, blah. And you don't know how to deal with it because you're human and you're sinful. And, maybe someone died and you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
It's like, you have all these burdens, but it's not like, that's not worth it to deal with. For someone else to come into your life and carry that burden with you. I mean, that's literally how the Bible talks about it, is that your brothers carry your burden, share the load. And Jesus, for Pete's sake, shares the load.
Yeah. He doesn't share the load. He took it.
Well, he takes he's taking the whole load, but the emotional side of that is he's there.
Yeah.
Helping.
Yeah. And that's huge.
Yeah.
It's wild to me that that's relationship, is the willingness to accept the person that's in front of you for who they are, and despite everything that they've done, choose to love them.
Yeah.
Like, that is magic in of itself. It's a crazy feeling.
Yeah.
To find someone that's willing to do that. And I find it insane that I take that for granted when it comes from Jesus. That's insanity.
Well, and it's interesting too, because the perversion of relationship is that, things are going to be great, which is backwards a little bit in our minds. It's like, oh, well, isn't that Like, we want things to be great. We want things to feel good. We want to be
Yeah.
pleasured. We want to enjoy this. We don't want all that negative stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the perversion. It's like because Jesus embodies whatever. He took literally all the burden. He said, I love you.
Yeah.
And I came here to live like you and then to prove to you that, I am God, and then to die for your sins and say, hey, I'm here with you. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
And, he knows better than anybody that it ain't going to be fun. It ain't going to be
it's going to involve a few nails.
Walking through the daisies and having a great time. It's the nitty gritty. And then, all the apostles afterwards, like their relationship with Christ wasn't fun.
It led to their
martyred.
death. 11 out of 12 times apostles died.
Yeah. And it's like that, and that perfectly shows what relationship should be.
Yeah.
Because, our friendships are that way. Our families are that way. And then, like, for some reason, we look at romantic relationships and we're like, oh, it's going to be whatever.
They're going to serve me. They're going to make my life amazing.
Yeah.
They're going to,
And it's like, how do you come to that conclusion?
Yeah.
And it's because we're self-centered and
absolutely
whatever, but like,
Well, I can tell you, I've heard this from a few of my friends, from like the Foundation for Blind Children, and just like, I don't know why I feel the same way in like just, I guess, in a way of being disabled as a way. I know I'm a bigger burden on other people, and in some ways I want to make up for it, but like money-wise, I would love to make up for it, but I know I can't.
Yeah.
Like I've been told personality-wise, like you have a great personality. Like you should be more personable with other people. Like even Daniel's told me this. It's like you should be more open. No.
Have I said that?
You have.
In what way? I feel like I wouldn't say you should.
Like you should be more outgoing. Try to get more friends with people. Like during Desert Hills. During SBC.
I denounce everything that I ever said in the past. How old am I? 28 years of my life. All right, yeah, I've said some stupid stuff. Sorry about that.
But
I mean, you have sought out friends though, and it's not a bad thing to do.
I have.
It's just I don't want to be the person who runs around pointing at people and saying you should do this, you should do that, blah blah blah.
Well, like
even if you do, it probably won't ever happen.
Yeah, people are hard to change.
Well,
yeah.
It's also where like you started off saying that you're a bigger burden.
Like Daniel coming to get me.
But that's
for events, even
Yeah.
like driving all the way in like 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
That's a societal weight, unnecessary weight, I'll say, because it's a matter of perspective. I mean,
sort of. I mean, perspective, but also it is a mathematical thing.
Sure, there's a mathematical thing, but
like he might love having me around.
Yeah,
but
no, I hate
how much in gas is it costing him? How much in?
I've never done the math. I can tell you, I
hope
care.
you never do.
Right, but that's the thing. It's like, sure, if I have to lift more for another person, or if I have to do, I really don't care. I mean,
that's the perspective. Is I don't care. I care more about you than I do the gas money.
Yeah, that doesn't make you more.
I care more about you than I do the drive time.
Doesn't make you more of a burden. I mean, I know me personally, I've been defined by several people as being a major burden because of how I am emotionally.
Yeah, you are.
And that's crazy. But like,
no,
but like,
don't do that.
But like the fact that I used to manipulate people.
Yeah.
That's not
cool, dude.
That's not cool. And it's not fun. And that's a burden on people. It's
a burden on you too.
A ton of trauma. And I bring that into every relationship. And I'm a burden on them. I tear people to shreds.
And answer me this though, that's a burden on you, right?
Yeah, it's a burden on me.
Conscious, right?
Huh?
It's like on your conscience.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not.
And I'll put this into perspective. Like getting driven places, like I'd rather ride my electric scooter than anything.
No, I get that.
Not
Yeah.
just because of the freedom, just because it limits the stress on everyone else.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Well, but I'll put it this way: all burden is equal, because again, and I'm absolutely pointing to the cross. He bore all the weight. So it's the same thing. Forgive your brother. Well, also serve them. So the weight or the burden, is more of like an identifier. You need to acknowledge that, yeah, you are a burden, but you also need to acknowledge that the right people are going to look at you that way. They're going to they're going to look at you in light of the fact that you aren't that. And so you can't compare yourself to anything else, because it's gone. It doesn't matter. It is null and void, because the God of all creation is already carrying everything. So just shut the frick up.
Yeah, Stephen.
No, but I'm saying this about everybody, and like I'm saying this to myself. Like it just doesn't matter. It's useless information, because it does nothing for anybody but bear down on yourself and other people and create a negative environment that adds nothing but negativity. And it's just more and more and more death.
Well, it becomes more of a burden.
It becomes
Because
more
now
of a burden.
Now it's a burden for not only the people around you, but the burden is still on your shoulders.
That's why the Bible says to know what your identity is. Your identity is not burden. Your identity is not all these different things. Your identity in Christ, once you've been saved, is just His. And everything, all the blessings that come with that. And
that's physical, spiritual, everything.
Yeah.
Emotional.
And that's we get to share in all those things.
Yeah.
Which means that we have to choose those things daily to accept them, to accept what the truth actually is.
Yeah, and God created that blind man for an express purpose, to glorify Jesus, right? The man that Jesus healed, Jesus told him specifically, you were blind for this purpose, right? And
Which negates, by the way, negates burden because he had a purpose.
There's a reason God allowed you to experience this, and in a way, that's a burden on you, because you have to wrestle with the fact that in a way, you're a burden on people around you. It's the same thing as when people get older and they need people around to take care of them. It's humbling, and that's a burden. And so
I think that's why I'll be like my grandfather, just like fighting every inch of the way.
yeah, tooth and nail. Yeah, that's how most of us go. Probably me too. But it's like a workout. It's a good burden.
You're choosing to carry that weight every day.
Yeah. Well, you don't get to choose to carry that weight every day. You have to. But then that means the people that come around you to help carry the reality of that burden instead of the emotional reality of that burden.
Oh, yeah.
Physical reality instead of the emotional reality. That means, in a way, you have a blessing to be able to see through all of the BS of all the people that are only there to help themselves.
Yeah.
And you can see, oh, this person is actually willing to help with no way for me to ever pay them back. And they're glad to help. And that's humbling.
Yeah.
But it's also a huge blessing, because we've already discussed this. Like, life is not about the physical necessarily, although God created the physical to be enjoyed.
Yeah.
But it's also about the relationships, and it's about the people that we experience life with, and it's about the God whom we look to and submit to and believe. And so saying, I, Stephen, am blind and I am a burden on everybody around me, is saying that in a way that God is wrong for doing what he did. You see that?
No, and that's not what I'm basically saying. I'm basically saying is that I know I have this burden and I accept it fully. Like, I understand what it costs for everyone else to basically endure this for me. And like, you coming to get me, my parents driving me around, Basically, everyone else taking the time for me to see and look through stuff, like my monocular,
Yeah.
my little telescope.
Yeah.
Like some things are much slower for me. Like even at work, I'm in customer service, like doing cashier work. I'm so much slower, so bad at it. And I honestly appreciate anyone who has the patience to deal with me in any way. Like, like the cashiering, like I'm terrible. Like I have to look through my monocular every single time just to see, like, well, credit card and debit card and either cash or like, sorry, it's force of habit. I pressed the wrong thing. Oh, sorry, I didn't print the receipt.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't think we were even necessarily 100% trying to talk to you.
No.
Although I'd
but-
love to.
Well, we also are talking, but I mean, just in relation to what
No,
we're talking about.
and this is, I'll turn it back generally. I've done this. I don't know if it was with you, Daniel, but it was on a trip, and they gave out prayer journals. I didn't use it for like a prayer. I used it as a reflection journal.
Okay.
And so one page I did everything that everyone else does for me.
Oh.
And this page will basically show you a side of yourself that you will not necessarily realize, but you must recognize that this is not the best side of you, but the worst side, the weakest side.
That's hard to face. It's hard to reckon with.
Yeah. Well, and
I bet you and I could do the same exact thing.
Yeah. Well, it absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked different. I mean, I think about that often, and I think that's a very powerful thing to think about.
Yeah.
And, I really hope that in this conversation, because I did not expect that this would be
It's gone a wild direction. Yeah.
But we're men. I hope that other men that listen to this, and I hope that women also can look at this listen to it and look at it, I guess, and understand that we should do that. We should look at the things that we need help with, that we need other people for.
Yeah.
Not because of the burden perspective, but because of I get help. I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I've said it multiple times in the past year. You can't do anything alone. You can't do a single thing alone. You couldn't be birthed alone. You couldn't be conceived alone.
You can't
for
exist
Pete's sake.
without God.
You can't exist without God. You can't. But like nothing that has happened without somebody else's hand in it. This table, the drinks, the cars, everything.
Yeah.
We need help.
Yeah.
To have all those things. And then it's like, okay, well, yeah, there's those people, but the people that make an impact, shoot, I mean, again, you needed your parents, and, whether or not they did a great job or are doing a great job or whatever, like, if they stuck around, holy dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of parents that don't do that.
Yeah.
Like going to the past, the forgiveness episode.
Yeah.
If they aren't doing a good job, forgive them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And
for your own sake.
Yeah. And like, if your friends are picking you up, or if your friend, like if you run out of money, you're in thousands of dollars of debt.
Whoa.
And,
It's not that serious. Is it?
It is that serious.
Wow. Okay.
You're in thousands of dollars of debt because you lost your job, and your friends are willing to freaking get you food and spot you money and whatever. Like, that's not like, oh, I'm a burden. It's like, oh, hey, there's some people that freaking care about me.
Yeah.
And I've been suicidal my entire life, pretty much. I've struggled with anxiety and depression and loneliness and whatever. And the moment that I realized these types of things, basically wrote down my own list of things that people do for me.
Yeah.
And I flipped it around. I'm like, oh, like these people care about me.
Yeah.
And then, there's another side to that. What do people do for me aside from the things that I can't do for myself, because that list is even longer. Like, I mean, my sister, what does she do for me? Like, practically, not a freaking thing. She doesn't do anything for me practically, but she's the joy of my life.
Yeah, she
She's
embraces
wonderful.
constant.
She's creative.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm blessed just to have her around,
Mm.
and she does nothing for me. I mean, other than, I mean, and
Entertaining you,
but, right? Well,
drawing your logos.
but also like, but those things should be valued higher, right?
Yeah.
It's not that she does nothing for me.
Yeah.
It's that the
She's not-
emotional value, the
She's not
mental
who-
value.
Her relationship to you is not what she does for you,
Yeah, and that's
or
yes,
doesn't do.
or doesn't do, and that's the reality.
Yeah.
We aren't defined by what we can and cannot do.
Mhm.
First off, we're defined by Christ. We're defined by our relationship with God, but through that, we get to, well, and I think this is true for anybody, but we get to really just be valued for who we are.
Yeah.
By other people.
Mhm.
Which means that the idea of the beauties in the eye of the beholder, people that think that you're worth it and that treat you well,
Mhm.
that's not, you don't get to choose that. You didn't influence them. You didn't coerce them. They showed up one day and they're like, "Hey, stupid, get in the truck. Let's go. We're going places." And you don't, you get the choice to get in.
Yeah.
And go along for the ride.
Hmm.
And then you get to realize they're, and in your mind, you're like, "Oh yeah, of course I'm going to take all their and whatever," and they're gonna apologize to you and be like, "What the frick are you talking about, dude? Like, you asked me to get in and I got in. I'm like, let's go. Like, of course I'm gonna take everything."
Yeah.
And that's, in our own minds, we get stuck in the burden part, but it's like the burden gets negated every single time we're around somebody that actually cares about us.
Oh, certainly. And this goes back to the original story of the lie that we first believed.
Yeah.
The lie that everything could be on our shoulders.
Yeah.
And it's just not true. It can't be true.
Yeah.
Like the fact that
Be crushing.
we know the difference between good and evil, and we have to decide in every single waking moment what is right and wrong.
Mm.
Don't know about you. That sounds so stressful.
Mm.
That sounds like a burden. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to just live life and know every single choice that you're going to make is a good one? We can't. Not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And we should probably wrap up here soon.
Yeah.
But it says that God cursed us.
Mm.
And granted, the curse part is technically written above the part going to the serpent. Because then it says, "And then God turned to the woman, or said to the woman," whatever. So whatever. There's still curses. But there are also mercies. Because say God just leaves us to not
Ever die.
Well, no.
No?
Well, yeah. To not ever die, but to not endure more stress. Think about the people that just get handed everything,
Mm.
and they have to. They think they're the greatest thing on the planet,
Mm.
and you just continue to enable them,
Mm.
and they never know. And then the day that they know, it destroys them.
Yeah.
And God is saying, I'm I'm helping you realize that there is a consequence for your actions. Here it is.
Mm.
You will remember this. You will know this your entire life. It's going to dawn on you every single time you wake up. As you get older, as your body deteriorates, as your wife is pregnant for the 10th time, whatever, it is going to hit you that there's a curse, that there is a lacking or a heightening of stress and whatever, indirect things that lead to suicide or whatever, or you just doing nothing in your life or not building relationships or whatever it is, a death of many different types of things. You're going to recognize that, and it's going to point you towards me. I mean, you can avoid it, but if he had just left us just the way that we were, not enduring things at a higher level of intensity, of negativity, why on earth would we feel as though we need that savior? I mean, we endure the things that we do. God tests us to point us to the fact that we need to rely on him. And so these other things, yes, they lead to death, but they also say there's only one way to life. So now bring it back to the tree of life. There's only one way
Mhm.
to that tree,
Mhm.
and it's not through the garden anymore.
Nope.
It's the Christ,
Mhm.
the life.
Way, the truth, the life.
Yeah, and even further, he endured all the curses, and then the ultimate curse,
Yeah.
which is a mercy on us. So, I mean, I'll say it over and over again. I don't believe that there's anything that is only ever bad because God turns it
For good.
for good.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that even from a worldly perspective, enduring trials and whatever else,
Trials and train horns.
and trying, it's I mean, there's the exercising analogy, like you break down muscle and build it up.
Mhm.
Like that's not a tiny little thing. Like, you don't train to get weaker. You train to get stronger, to endure more.
Hmm.
So yeah, you have to go through the pain in order to get to having more pain.
It's like that that problem that people have where they can't feel pain at all.
Mm,
And it's very dangerous because they could just bleed out
yeah,
and not know it.
yeah,
They could break a bone, not know it. Like they could die before they know it
yeah,
because
What is-
they don't have any signal telling them that there's something wrong.
yeah,
So that is a really good point.
Yeah.
God's mercy and the curse of like, this life is pointless. What am I doing toiling through all of this if it's just going to end up dust?
yeah.
And I've seen my grandpa die, my grandma die, my mom die, my dad die, my child died.
Yeah.
I had to make that hard decision.
And the feeling we get from that
Right.
is that something is wrong.
I want to die.
Yeah.
That's the feeling.
Right.
I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
I want to be done. And for some of us, we do. And for others, we don't because of the good things that are still left here.
Yeah.
Stephen, you had something though.
Wasn't it like the people that don't feel pain? I think it was like the person that, you might want to look this up, but that lived the longest without having like nerve interaction, or I don't know what it's called, but like survived to like 31. Like that's the longest on average
Hmm.
that they survive.
Wow.
Well, it's called congenital
It's
insensitivity to pain, CIP. I didn't look up the average age. It's a good question.
I know it's
life
like
expectancy.
around in the 30s, I think. Oh, excuse me.
And it was
I wanted to bring up something else around the conversation. It was
Okay, so it's some can live past 25.
Hmm.
I don't know if that answers our question. But yeah, it's the fact is you have to have a signal to know that something is wrong.
Yeah.
You have to. And that's why we can go through pain and be like, oh, that's good pain.
Hmm.
Like, why do people like spicy food? It's good pain. Why do people like working out? It's good pain. Why do people like going on a run? It's good pain.
Hmm.
Why do people like self-discipline? It's good pain.
suck at discipline.
Everybody
I like
sucks
working.
discipline
I
first.
like working out. I love the pain of muscle fatigue and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
That means you're
self-discipline, I'm like soda. I suck.
Well,
Well, and
We all work at
that's
it.
the thing, though. And I think that is interesting because it's like with a conscience and also with the Holy Spirit, we recognize that there's something wrong,
Yeah.
right? I think we take that for granted all the time. It's like, I recognize that there's something wrong, and so I just brood and whatever, but it's like, oh, I'm recognizing that there's something wrong. That's a mercy.
Yeah.
That's a mercy all day long.
Yeah.
Can you guys pick out like 3 things that you do intentionally, but you know is wrong
oh yeah.
in like today?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or
Broke
do
the
you want
speed
us to list those things?
I'll start. I'll definitely start.
Sure. We're going to end it on this. Okay.
Soda,
Yep.
Sure.
first thing.
Mm.
Video games
Mhm.
Mm.
and procrastination.
Yep. I can second the procrastination. This morning I woke up and I watched some YouTube reels instead of getting ready to go to church.
Nice.
And I knew I shouldn't have done that, and I was late because of it. And then I sped. I broke the speed limit. It's another thing. Let's see what else.
I mean, wouldn't it be a sin if you didn't speed in your car?
Yeah. For
Well,
everybody who doesn't know, I have a GR86. I was blessed with a GR86. It is very fun to drive, and I suck at driving it.
I don't know if you suck.
I
just-
burned the clutch out so hard the other day. But yeah, no, it's a good point. Like, we are constantly falling short.
Yeah, and I'll let you go, Mickael, but I just do this stuff to myself just to not necessarily put myself down, but to reflect as an aspect of, like, I forget, in the Bible it says, forget which king, Solomon or whoever, asks his servant to go find him a ring that will make him happy or make him sad at the same time. It basically puts him an equal, basically. And like, I do this stuff to myself whenever, like, there's mountains, like the mountain valley kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like, you have mountains which are highs and valleys which are lows. And trust me, I have very high mountains and very low valleys.
Same.
And when I have mountains, I reflect on which faults I have, and when I have valleys, I try and reflect on, like, which are my good aspects and what I'm thankful for. And trust me, I'm not the most perfect person. I can't always do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I absolutely fail, and it's just like, well, this is going wrong, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But it's just, I try and keep a middle ground, and
An awareness.
and just like be aware of your goods and bads at all times, and you'll
Strengths
be
and weaknesses.
in a way, basically.
Gratitude.
And you'll kind of know yourself more and be able to predict yourself a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, to wrap up this section, I'd say, so the question was, what was the practical connection between the curses and actual death? And I would say there's a lot of practical connections. There's pain, which leads to sorrow, which leads to depression, which leads to suicide. And there's pain in childbirth, which directly led to like 4 to 5 billion deaths in history, if not more. And then the fact that God said everybody's going to return to dust, that directly by itself is proving that everybody is going to turn back into dust no matter what they try to do, whether they're saved or not, whether Jesus paid the price or not, they're going to return to dust. The only thing that could have prevented that was the tree of life. And to Michael's point, there was pain, which gave us the signal that something's wrong, which was great news, because then we would look for a solution. And solution came in the form of man, who was fully man, fully God. And some of us, our eyes were open, which is great news. And then the tree of life, if Adam and Eve ate of that tree, they would have been in a permanent state, living forever in a state of confusion, not understanding the difference between what is actually true and what is actually false.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe I just had this thought.
Okay. I thought I was wrapping up, but
Well, I think this is a great way to going back to the trees.
Okay.
What if the knowledge of good and evil was the need for the alarm bells?
Huh?
The
I'm
need
too tired for this, man.
the need for the understanding of the pain, of the sorrow, of whatever.
What if the tree itself was the need of that?
No, the tree, the eating of it basically made it necessary for
the
us
pain.
to have pain,
To be able to tell.
be able to tell.
Maybe.
And I'm not just talking about I'm not just talking about pain, but like
You mean spiritual
evil
pain?
and the effect that
We
pain
became
has.
aware of spiritual pain. So
Yeah.
there was mental pain, there was emotional pain, there was physical pain, but before that there was no spiritual pain.
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, I could see that.
Hmm.
But to answer the question that we had for this section, what is the practical connection between the curses and death? I think
there's a lot.
Yeah, there's
I
a
feel like
lot.
there's more than we actually.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say like the biggest one for me, at least in my opinion, is the fact that men have to toil to eat now, where before God created the perfect socialism. Everybody could eat for free.
Yeah.
And it was perfect because God is without fail. Right. Just using the word socialism to trigger everybody.
Yeah. No, I know. And I am.
Are you triggered?
happy.
I'm very
No, you're
I'm,
happy.
I'm excited.
Steven's triggered.
I can't wait for people to actually listen to this. and
Right.
be like,
We do have 2 views. Look
Yeah,
at
we
that.
do.
Check that
I
out.
think one of them was Steven in the bathroom earlier.
Nice, dude. Heck yeah, thanks for listening.
I had to keep in
In the loop.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Smart
everything.
man.
Just to be honest with everyone.
Daniel, did you do that? When you
Maybe.
I don't believe you.
I tried. It wouldn't work.
That's funny.
Which is funny because it's my account. Anyways, do we have announcements or anything?
I don't think so.
No?
I
No,
think I can just take us out. Oh yeah.
I do think I want to bring this up, but
Okay.
and this doesn't have to be tonight.
Okay. Cliffhanger?
But no, not necessarily cliffhanger.
Okay.
Prayer.
Oh.
Mm.
Right. Duh.
Prayers and
We should.
we should pray on the podcast.
Just like generally, I guess, for everyone.
On the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Just the 3 of us.
You
We
know,
should not pray about anybody else.
That's so fair. And you know what? I think I had this thought, and I'm like, but praying on a podcast, that's weird. Isn't it?
Well,
It shouldn't be.
well,
we should be
I
allowed
just-
to pray on a podcast.
Yeah.
I just had this thought, and Daniel knows him, but every time I meet Vern,
Who? I'm
Vern,
just kidding.
VERN, we always do prayer after, like before and,
Before after, yeah.
and after we meet, and like
Hmm.
whenever we're leaving, it's just like, what do you want me to pray about for you? And
That's true.
it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that always hits me so hard, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, why don't we just do it on the podcast? And
Yeah.
I just had to bring it up this time.
That's how we should open the podcast.
With prayer?
Open with prayer, end with prayer, and then go into the intro. I think that would.
What if we do the music and start praying?
Or we could not.
Jesus is in the house.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I think
Yeah.
that's a good point. I don't know. I've thought about it, and I'm like, I don't know if that would be weird or what. It
only
shouldn't.
weird if
It
you make
shouldn't
it
be
weird.
Yeah, it shouldn't
on,
be
Mike.
weird because we should be praying, and we should be unashamed of our faith, and prayer is a huge part of our faith.
That being said, Steven, you want to pray us out?
Let me do the outro really quick, and then
Sacrilegious.
pray. So that we end with prayer, and then we actually end with prayer or begin with prayer. Yeah. So this does conclude this episode 4. Fruits is the name of the episode. And
Wait, I got it. A 4-hour foray into the fruits.
oh, okay, that's beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
like that. You don't get to name the episodes though.
Ah.
That's my job. For anybody that does listen to this, when this does come out, which will be several months from when we've actually recorded it, I'm sure, we do thank you. And we hope that this has been edifying, as well as entertaining. And, topics like today, where we talk about something that is at least near and dear to my heart, I'm sure has weighed on you guys in different ways as well. Those are the moments where I'm like, that's why we don't have like a specific format. Because it's not about, being right. And it's not even about getting things perfectly. It's about embracing the imperfect and recognizing that we need to do better, but here's where we're at. Here's who we are. We're coming as we are. And I think that further kind of bolsters this idea that if there are any topics, for our listeners in, having to do with certain things, I mean, we really touch on it all. We touch on a lot of different things.
Yeah,
And
or even any comments.
yeah.
Too bad.
And, I don't think anything's really off the table.
No.
And I don't think it should be. So,
I mean, this is like a Christian podcast, and there were cuss words.
yeah,
Only
talked
from
about-
you.
All right, come on.
I mean,
Maybe
we could put
I'm the
more in.
realist.
I held back several times.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I could tell.
So-
Yeah, we talked about sex.
Yeah.
We
we
talked
did.
about how God made hot people.
All
Which
of those things were
involves-
from you.
Whoa,
It's
chill,
interesting.
guys, chill.
That's interesting.
Just
Yeah.
because I'm the coolest one here doesn't.
Whoa.
Just
But, yeah, I mean,
because you have a GR86 does not mean.
realistically, what this points to is the fact that, we as believers have to deal with these things.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're going to get backlash on certain things,
Oh,
on
100%.
certain jokes, on things that we talk about. And,
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, there are certain things that may be inappropriate, but it's also like we'll address that. And hopefully the way we address it is that we'd actually talk about it seriously and take it seriously and pray about it on our own and all that different stuff. Because, I mean, scripture touches on all these different things. And yeah, we're going to make jokes about it and we're going to be stupid and whatever sometimes. But, the hope is that we deal with it as humans that are seeking to be more like Christ while not hiding who we actually are right now. So,
No, I'm here to pour perfume and use my hair. You know what I mean?
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's supposed to feel weird.
It is supposed to feel weird.
Yeah.
So leave us some reviews letting us know your constructive criticisms or comments.
Or
Um,
deconstructive.
Yeah.
I don't want to deconstruct.
Well, we could talk about
Why not?
deconstruction.
Why
I hope
not?
we could talk about deconstruction.
That's what I meant.
Oh, gotcha. We hope you'll join us in the next episode 5,
Episode 5.
which will be called Choice.
When do I get the choice to name these things?
Never.
Never.
You get to work on everything else. Let me do something.
That's true. This is the only thing you.
This is the only thing that I do. So, who's
Who?
praying?
Steven,
I can.
You want to pray?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Right. Think so.
Dear Lord, thank you for everything that we've gone through so far. Even the understanding, even if it's just in the very slightest, that we have even tried to understand your immense knowledge in life, in everything that we do, in all the knowledge that we even have. We are so grateful with what knowledge we even carry within our own minds. We bring onto this podcast our own perspectives, our own opinions is so amazing. I say a lot. I am so grateful for Daniel and Mickael for in each ways they have impacted my lives and in any way that they could improve it in any way or help me to improve. The podcast has been enlightening in so many ways. I hope everything that we go over is just as enlightening for everyone else. And I hope everyone takes away, even if they've read the Bible in any way, shape, or form, even in any language, that they take some part of it to heart, even to improve their own lives, improve in any way, whether it be spiritually or physically. And I also wish that we can continue this every week to continue your word in our Lord's name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Good stuff, man. Thanks for praying us out.
This is Perfumed Decay,
This was Perfume Decay,
the 4-hour edition.
the 4-hour foray. Thanks,
Push
guys.
out.
That was fun.